95.
This is WCPT telling you how you can shop blue. Whether you're hitting the beach, the local pool, or just going out for a walk, let's take a look at some sunscreen companies that support the Democratic Party. Neutrogena and Aveeno. Now, they are both owned by Johnson & Johnson. Johnson & Johnson is a company whose donations are mostly down the middle. But if we had the donations from their senior leaders, 60% of those donations went to Democrats. Banana Boat and Hawaiian Tropic. Now, both of them are owned by Edgewell Personal Care, who does not give to politics as a company. However, some of their senior leaders do. And in 2024, they donated to Kamala Harris's presidential campaign. Nivea and Coppertone Sunscreen. Both of them are owned by Bayerdorf, a German company who does not give to American politics. This has been WCPT telling you how you can shop blue.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez. From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing asses says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Fooled you. It's Paul Shivari instead of Patti Vasquez, but never you fear, she is here. I'm just holding the fort down. Because Patti had to kick butt and take names.
That's
and
sometimes.
All the
things. Speaking of kicking butts, I don't know whose butt today in the World Cup.
Oh, you didn't see the final?
I have no idea.
Spain beat France 2-0, and now they'll play for their second ever World Cup on Sunday.
And how do you feel about this result?
I thought France was going to win, but no matter what, out of the Final Four, I think all of them are really good teams. Yeah. So Spain deserves to be there. They've only let up one goal the entire tournament.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So that's impressive.
So I think Spain's defense might take them to a title depending on England or Argentina tomorrow.
Well, of course, I'm only living the World Cup through social media.
Yeah.
And I do love the your colonizer or my colonizer, but we all hate Argentina vibe that seems to be going.
Okay.
And does this go along with the idea that FIFA is in the bag or like has, Argentina is their favorite?
Yeah, maybe. I think because of Lionel Messi, but I think at this point, all four teams or three teams could be, in the pockets of FIFA. So, yeah.
That's fascinating. So, all right. So how when was the first goal? Like how far into the game?
Oh gosh, I have to think about it. It was like 20 minutes or so, and it was like a bad penalty committed inside the box by France. It was just like the ball was kind of coming from, up top and falling down, and this French defender just kicked so high up and kicked the side of the Spanish attacker that it was inside the box. Therefore, it's
kicked him.
He kicked him, yeah.
Oh.
But he was going for the ball, but it's a bad challenge, and it was inside the box. If it was like 1 foot outside of the box, would have been a free kick outside, but it was a free kick in the box. So it's just the guy kicking it versus the goalie, and it was. I'm always going to mess up his name. Michael Oyarzabal. He's like one of their top scorers.
I don't even know if that was right, but it sounded great.
He ended up scoring the goal. And then the second half was like maybe 58th minute when Porro scored one. And that was it was a really neat give and go. Just kind of gave it to one of his teammates and then kind of streaked towards the goal and got through the defenders and was able to get it in. And France just had no real good looks at the goal. They had a lot of shots on target, but obviously couldn't get one in. So more power to Spain. They're going to be.
I had no idea they've only let one goal get scored on
the whole
them.
tournament.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, how many teams? So we were talking yesterday. This is all knockout. So whoever loses.
Yep.
And that's why you have to have an extra. What's the extra round?
Additional extra time. Yeah, the 2 15-minute periods that they play.
Oh, they get up to 2?
2, yeah.
What happens if
they don't, then it goes into penalty kicks. Until,
oh, my God.
Yeah.
Because somebody has to be eliminated because it's down to the Final Four.
Yep.
It is. I just can't imagine running for that long.
Yeah.
I mean, that's nuts.
If you watch, sometimes they'll be walking. You'll see why isn't he streaking after the ball? It's he's conserving his energy, or he just ran for the last few minutes.
How much has weather been a factor? Because I know we've had some hot stretches for some of these games.
It hasn't seemed like it, other than the games where it's really hot and it goes the full time close to penalty kicks. You can see them cramping up towards 2 hours of running around. Yeah,
I mean,
where it's guys the simplest things just jogging for a second and then they're just on the ground, or they go to kick it and it's just there's no muscle behind it because they're cramping up.
And then, so when does Argentina play England?
Tomorrow at 2:00.
And then the final game between
Saturday at 2 or Sunday at 2:00.
Okay, Sunday at 2. And you'll be here.
I won't. I took the day off.
Oh my God.
And I'm gonna somehow log file a story for the World Cup for the Sports Cubicle. I haven't figured out how yet.
Yep.
Hopefully, I won't have to come here for it. But
I don't want to ask you where you're watching in case you don't want people to flood.
I don't know.
place.
I don't know yet. I'm a free agent as far as plans. I'll be here in the morning, probably leaving around like 11 or noon, and then.
Would you go all the way home, or would you stay in the neighborhood if someone said, "Let's go to Vaughn's"?
It depends. Yeah, I'm a free agent right now.
I
So
don't know, maybe we get a group of people to go to one of the neighborhood joints.
That'd be cool.
Steve, please check my calendar if my husband's listening. He wasn't sure I was going to make it to the show.
I feel
either,
like
by the way.
Vaughn's is going to be packed though for it, don't you think?
If I get there early enough, the people know me. I can maybe grab a table. It depends how many people we think we would have. So, although why am I saying Vaughn's? I said don't tell people where you're going to be. I'll figure it out.
I don't care if Vaughn's is overpacked. As long as we
Same
get
thing.
as long as I get my Carlsberg, I'm happy.
Yeah, and then they've got and there's also 3. Have you been to 3? You've been to 3 county pubs.
Yeah, 3 counties. Yeah,
Yeah,
That's a good one.
They don't have a kitchen though. They just
they don't.
They just have Irish snacks, which is kind of fun.
It feels like a cave when you're in there, though.
It
3
does.
counties. It like gives. I've never been to Ireland, but Damien says it has more of the Irish pub vibe.
I agree. I think that Vaughn's, and look, I mean, it helps when you have. There's so many Irish expats in this area too.
Yeah.
So those 2 bars have a lot of expats. So does Babes down on Milwaukee Ave, and there's quite a few.
You're gonna hear some brogues for sure.
Yeah, just a couple. So do you? I've asked before. You don't really have. You just love the game. You don't have a favorite.
I don't have a favorite. I guess I'm rooting for England because it's been the longest since they've won it, but at the same time, they're kind of the evil empire too. So I don't know. I have no Spain, England, Spain, Argentina. I don't have any dog in the fight. I just want to see a good game. I don't want it to be decided in 90 minutes. I want it to go the full 2 hours. I want to see people tired. I want like penalty kicks to last forever. I want people to like really earn this thing, to be like limping into the trophy presentation.
Do you have so far? What's been your favorite game? Would you say?
Oh gosh. I think that Argentina-Cabo Verde was a lot of fun. England-Norway, but I was also working during the end of it, so it's hard for me to, I wasn't engaged in it. And I feel like I'm really missing, a big one here. But yeah, those so far I think were, the ones that stand out. Argentina-Cabo Verde. Argentina-Egypt was a good one a week ago where Egypt was up, 2-0. 20 minutes left to go, and they ended up losing that game in the next 20 minutes. So,
I like I said, I've watched a few of them. I'm mostly living them through social. I don't know if you saw Holland returning to Norway with his
raccoon. So it looks like a raccoon holding on to a big bottle.
I think it's tequila. If I'm not mistaken.
So it was filled. Okay,
yes.
I thought it was one of those things where you had to refill it or something. But.
Do you know? I would not have been surprised if it was a live raccoon and not taxidermy. This guy is so, and he had to be on the plane going, no, this is going to go viral. I mean, he's right.
Yeah.
Folks, I don't know how to explain. If you haven't seen, first of all, an image of Erling Haaland.
Yeah.
Huge Nordic guy. I mean, the amount of scrutiny, right down to his facial bone structure that people have of all this stuff. But so this giant of a man with a slick back blonde ponytail, just kind of walking off a plane with a taxidermy raccoon, just as normal. And the raccoon's kind of in a position to also kind of waving, holding a bottle of tequila.
Yeah, gripping the bottle of tequila. Yeah.
But he had to be on the plane going, watch this. That's going to be amazing.
Hey, while I got you here,
Yes.
not that this is a free advertisement for McDonald's, but I want to show you. I got the Grimace FIFA World Cup.
Oh my God! Is this season? Or
yeah,
is this,
they're doing a special with 9 different cups that they're
And I'm sorry.
It's a nice cup.
That's an interesting plastic. I don't know why I'm going to say a plastic heft to it. That's nice.
It's a pretty
Very
good deal.
vibrant.
I mean, you don't have to pay that much extra, I don't think, to get the thing. And it's probably for a limited time only. But they got 9 different cups. I got one the other day, and it was Christian Pulisic from USA. And I was like, my nephew's going to like this, so I think I'm going to send it out to him.
Super cute.
And then my wife was like, well, if you get another one and it's Grimace, I want it. So, my wife got Grimace. So.
That's really sweet. I love that. I was laughing. I'm laughing too because, when I was are you old enough where these fast food restaurants had glassware that they gave out?
Yes, yeah. I remember as a kid, there was in the 80s, McDonald's had these little glasses and I remember like Pizza Hut also had like some giveaways and stuff that were cool.
Glassware. Yeah. I was at so there's a thing like with secondhand stuff. There, I mean, there's a eBay for everything, obviously, or like what's worth something. And like one day for whatever reason on my scroll, because I love old furniture. It gave you all these different like mugs that are worth money, and I ended up finding one at a thrift store. It's like for $1 I got an $88 what's worth $88 on eBay.
Yeah. I wish I was good at that, like the type of people that can go to like a Goodwill or a thrift store and see like the things that are of like high value. I had a friend that was really good for that, and he had an eye for vintage stuff.
Yeah.
Like 50s through the like 70s. He like spotted it, knew it, found the market for it, had a whole basement full of like vintage clothing. It's pretty cool.
Well, I will say this, and I agree with the folks online who are making these comments. So I was at the Nord Park Thrift, and they were telling me like they're almost turning donations away. Like, they support the Nord Park Senior Citizen Home and services. And she said, like, so apparently there's a tsunami of like boomers, either, estates, but also like cleaning their house. There's this whole thing about like not making your kids go through your stuff.
Yep.
So right now, is if people want like solid, good vintage furniture, there's going to like at all your thrift stores. I just thought that was really interesting because I'm seeing some really good stuff.
I thought you were going to say like make friends with a dying boomer or something.
No. But yes, I mean, everyone deserves to have a friend.
Yeah.
But no, that there's, I mean, so you're not getting like your, having to use an Allen wrench on IKEA furniture moment where you can get some really, like I saw a desk that I still in my mind wish I'd gotten. It was $70. It was a mid-century modern, didn't need any work, that came with just things like that. There's going to be a lot of that in the next like year or two. They're saying right now, like, unfortunately, the landfills are filling it because people go into shops and they look for that fast fashion and should be looking for the stuff that has been around since the 70s. Because
I briefly worked at like Cancer Federation or whatever, picking up donations, and you'd be surprised like what percentage they end up throwing away of all the stuff they get.
Yeah, it's hard. So anyway, coming back to soccer.
Yes.
So we've got so Sunday's the World Cup, the final two. Now we're down to 3 teams.
Yeah, I mean there is a third place game, so France.
I don't know why it's funny.
No, it's funny. But I was gonna say like a lot of people forget that, and I don't even know where it stands. But there is a third place game.
Oh my God!
So Saturday at 4, if anyone's interested in that, it'd be France versus tomorrow's loser. But,
so there's a loser. Okay.
Yeah.
It's adorable.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm saying it that way.
A lot of people forget it. I forget it sometimes. But
and that'll be played on Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday
at 4.
Sense. Yeah.
Okay. So these are all the last 2 games are being played in New Jersey still? Is that?
No. So tomorrow's game is in Atlanta, and then Saturday's third place game is in Miami, which will be a tough one. Yeah. And then Sunday in New York or New Jersey. Yeah.
Was yesterday's? That wasn't in Kansas? Was it? Where was?
The last one was Kansas on Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is absolutely wild. I'm excited to have somebody to because I'm obviously new to. I think a lot of people came to soccer because of social media and some of those stories.
And the U.S. hosting it, I think, just with it in our backyard, everyone's got World Cup fever.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah, this has been really fun. And at first, like the first week or so, when I saw the Tartan Army in Boston, I had FOMO. And I was like, why is in Chicago in there? And now I'm like, no, thank you, Mayor. If I'm going to say thank you to Mayor Emanuel for anything, it's going to be...
Thanks for no World Cup in Chicago.
Well, not putting us on the hook for the $50 to $100 million dome.
Yeah, when you were telling me about that yesterday, and I didn't know about that, but it seems like of course FIFA would come and throw their weight around, and it still wouldn't solve the problem that Chicago has about that football stadium.
And so why is that?
I think it's because they want to host bigger events, and while the World Cup is big, they don't have the same sort of requirements that like the Super Bowl or the Final Four or something along those lines.
So a dome wouldn't have been enough to save our butts?
No.
Okay. I didn't know that. Okay. But then again,
they need like a certain amount of like seats and suites, I want to say, when it comes to
seats and suites, baby.
And suites,
sounds like a band name or something.
I'm sure there's other things to it, but I don't know. It reminds me of the Premier League. There was a team a few years ago, Luton Town, that made like this quick jump level to level and got to the Premier League, but they had to have certain things done to their stadium in order to make it Premier League ready because it was such a lower tier ground. You'd be walking into one side of the stadium, and as you're walking into the stadium, you're going over like the houses in the neighborhood. You could see like the backyard, like people like hanging their clothing like on the clothesline or whatever. So it's like, they had to like get it certain camera positions and certain things, lighting and stuff,
right.
Just to get it ready for the big leagues. So
amazing.
I think of Soldier Field, even though it's not necessarily in someone's backyard or like that old, it's still an old stadium that's not up to modern standards.
I've only been to that stadium, I want to say I've lived in the city my whole life. I'm going to be 55.
Yeah.
I think I've been in that stadium once.
Before the renovation or after?
Before. So it would have been 1988 for a Frosh-Saw football city championship.
Oh, okay.
My
I was
friends
ready
were
for like
playing.
88, like what, Madonna or?
Nope. Lane Tech made it to. No, that wouldn't have been there. It would have been at Hanson Stadium. Why was
Are
it?
you sure? Because didn't they usually do like the public league versus the Catholic league winners?
It might have been something
like that.
It was high school related.
Okay.
It was,
high school football, though.
Yeah, high school
Okay.
football. Yeah, nothing. I don't think I've ever been
And it
there.
was warm or cold?
It was warm.
It was warm.
It was
Okay, so
fall.
it's probably like a kickoff, like because they do like the first game, they'll have like some big city
Yeah.
rivalries, and then
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
the only reason I've one game at Soldier Field. I've never gone to a Bears game.
that's interesting. I would
Yeah.
have thought maybe like a Bears game or a concert or.
Hello, no, Pauling lack of musical knowledge here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, no. Although I did go to the Rosemont Horizon, which is
Okay.
now Allstate Arena. No,
Yep.
what is it? Is that
Yeah.
over
No,
here?
you're right.
Rosemont?
Yeah, you're right.
I saw my first concert was Chicago and Phil Collins.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that's the first concert because my friends were going.
That's a combo right there. Yeah. Chicago
right?
and Phil. Yeah.
Yeah, Chicago. That's right. They toured together, or it was either Genesis or Phil Collins. So,
It's okay, but Chicago
Phil Collins.
Genesis or Chicago Phil Collins.
Yeah.
Either way, that's a good show.
what was your first concert?
It was at Rosemont Horizon, Ringo Starr and his all-star band, 1997.
That's great.
Yeah, so I saw
I
like
like yours better.
Peter Frampton and was it Jack Bruce from Cream and
That's amazing.
the-
Even I know that's amazing.
yeah. Oh yeah, as it like a 15-year-old, I was like, this is so cool. Yeah.
Thank you, Paul Shivari. You can hang out if you want. We can talk some topics in the. You probably
I have to go, yeah.
Well, thank you for doing this.
Yes, yeah, thank you.
I appreciate it.
Anytime.
For anyone who's coming to the Northwest Side, stay away because every street is choked off from the rest of the world. I'm just saying.
no.
Oh my God! I was like, I'm like, just don't let me get trapped on these tracks. Like people were. I make sure there's enough room on the other side.
I always
At
do,
Nagel,
yeah.
it was really
But even then when
not
you-
Nagel, but yeah.
We're getting a little too inside here, but like
Yeah.
when you cross over the tracks, there's like, I'm surprised it still exists. The Canfield or the Bryn Mawr exit off of 90, how
Yeah.
it like takes you right there, train tracks. There's no
Isn't that
stop
crazy?
light. Like, so you'll have like people trying to get over the tracks stopped, and then people cutting in the middle of the intersection, trying to go down Avondale. Yeah.
It's a poop show, is all I
Yeah.
can say. And I used other words while I was driving.
And meanwhile, there's maintenance on all the tracks right now.
Yeah,
So,
they closed off Nagel. Bryn Mawr's a disaster. Northwest Highway was backed up all the way to the light at Manila, like all the way almost to Foster. It's bad.
It's a win for the commuter
So-
rail
Yes.
crowds here. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not sure the way to really fly. You're free advertising. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Paul Shivari. Sports
Thank you.
Cubicle this Sunday night, of course, at 9:00, and also on Saturday nights. I'm flaking.
Think Theory Radio.
Think
Yeah.
Theory Radio.
That's
I have
Damien's
traffic
show.
brain.
I'm just the sidekick.
Still, you're
Yeah.
on the air. Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Right back after this.
Amy Goodman reports on the news stories rarely covered by the corporate media.
Lawyers for Haitian immigrants are petitioning the U.S. Supreme Court to dismiss the Trump administration's efforts to end temporary protected status for more than 300,000 Haitians living in the United States. This comes as evidence uncovered during ongoing litigation has raised serious questions regarding the process Trump officials used to terminate the relief.
Democracy Now! Weekday evenings at 11 on WCPT 820.
If you're purchasing a new home or refinancing your existing home, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Suzanne called after hearing me explain discount points on my radio show because her son was purchasing a home in Colorado. I answered Suzanne's questions and encouraged her son to call me for a free consultation. Suzanne was so impressed with the service I provided, she wrote this 5-star Google review. Quote, I sent David an email today with a question about discount points that I heard him talk about on his radio show. And he called me back this evening with a complete explanation. I'm so impressed with his responsiveness and knowledge. Thank you, Suzanne, for the amazing review. I strongly encourage everyone to check out Team Hochberg's close to 600 5-star Google reviews. Team Hochberg helped Suzanne and thousands of radio listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. That's 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Atlantic Coast Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 643114.
You're listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
Or
and Pete.
Patti Vasquez is taking your calls now.
All right, let's hit it.
At 773-763-9278.
I got a lot to say.
It's Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. And in particular, thank you so much to everybody here at WCPT for hanging out for dear life, not knowing when I might arrive for a show. And thank you to Paul Shivari in particular and Andy Miles. Paul, who might have otherwise been able to leave and carry on with his evening. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to make it for the beginning of my own show. I'm stuck in a horrible traffic nightmare. So at any rate, I do want to talk about, of course, what's going on in the news. And before we get to that, let's thank our sponsors for making these conversations possible. You know, the thing I love about our sponsors is that they're not just invested in, you know, getting their name out there and being a part of the story that we tell, because they don't have to, right? There's a risk to saying we support these conversations, even though every business should be interested in the other side, or not even the other side, but the conversations that we have a large audience. I mean, the folks that are tuning in digitally, I can't thank you enough. I mean, we are in the hundreds of thousands of hours that people are playing our podcasts or listening live to the live streams, and it's really remarkable when we look at the numbers. I know people are looking for these conversations, and the sponsors who support us are businesses that are they're all LGBTQ forward. They're all many of them are woman owned, women of color owned. They support groups that might otherwise be targeted by this administration, and we appreciate that. So please make sure that you are checking out the heartlandsignal.com website and learning about all the sponsors across the entire station that support the work that we do. And again, all small business owners, all in your communities or online. And for this show, we want to thank our friends at Pride Coffee Roasters. Go to Pride Coffee Roasters and put in an order for some of the best single origin roasted to order coffee beans you will ever have. And Patty and Jackie often are at the farmers markets in communities near you in the Chicagoland area, including Skokie and Edgewater, or is that River Park? Well, you know, is it Rogers Park? East. There's one east. There's a Skokie. There's a Jefferson Park Sunday Market. You can find out where they'll be on their website. That's pridecoffeeroasters.com. You can also put in an order for a bean subscription and have coffee beans delivered to your home. We also want to thank our friends at Source Solar. It's been a pleasure to work with Peter Sorellis and Warren Price and the work they do, making sure that you know more about the investment of solar power. Go to source.solar, make an appointment with Peter Sorellis, and he'll walk you through the entire process. I was driving through a community today, and I saw a couple homes with solar panels, and it's just cool to see people taking advantage of the fact that if you go green, you save green, you do better for the environment, and you can learn more about that at source.solar. We also want to thank our friends at Minocqua Brewing Company, and those of you who are tuning in on Minocqua Brewing Company Substack, hello and thank you. You can support the work that we do there by visiting the marketplace for Minocqua Brewing Company. You can also go to MinocquaBrewingCompany.com, and one of my favorite beers right now is a West Coast IPA called Fascist Tears, and I think you will appreciate the artwork on that can. I believe it features, it's Kash Patel, Pete Hegseth. I can't remember who else is on the can. Oh, it's got to be, you know what? She's Carolyn Levitt, right? Is that her name? Carolyn, who's the press? She's been gone for a while, and God bless her for taking time for her family. But the press secretary. My apologies, because it's been a minute since we've had to think about her, because there's so many things happening so quickly. I'm sure she would have been at the podium telling us why 2 men in the span of 1 week deserve to be shot in traffic stops. And okay, let's get to that in a moment. I didn't mean to vent so quickly. But again, thank you to our sponsors, Minocqua Brewing Company as well. And of course, we also want to thank our our sponsors for the Chicago Pride Parade float and supporting our presence there. We want to thank so much Berman, Kia, and Subaru. We also want to thank our friends at Social Change. Go to socialchange.site and learn more about the work that they do. And of course, Dr. Jason Bissell was a sponsor from Chicago Community Acupuncture. Thank you so much to the work that you do, in particular for our community, and of course your sponsorship here. We want to thank our friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, our friends at Illinois Veterans for Change, and just a lot of really great organizations who joined us for the Pride Parade this year. So much fun to have all of you there, and I'm sure I will take a look and see if I forgot anybody. Maybe Matt can remind me. I think I got everybody. Let's see. I'll have to take a look at the pictures. Just really a wonderful group of folks. Let me take a look at some of the texts that are coming in. Let's see. We were talking about Soldier Field. Remember McDonald's large plastic drink tumblers with Dennis Rodman? And remember how room temp his hair. Oh yeah, the cups changed color. At room temp his hair was one color, maybe neon, and then with a cold drink it would change to a different neon color. Yeah, we all should have kept one of those. I'm sure that collectors. Critical of Soldier Field, blame the veterans and friends and families of veterans who made a huge stink about any changes to. Was it the veterans or was it the friends of the parks? Oh, it is. Yeah, you have that next. That and the friends of the parks who wanted the development. No development on the lakefront. That's also why we do not have the George Lucas Museum here in Chicago, because they did not want any more development. So Chicago and the Bears did what they had to do to pacify all the group issues and ended up with a stadium within a stadium. And it looks just hideous, by the way. I've always thought it looked like some people call it a toilet bowl. I think it looks like a flying saucer, an alien ship landed on the Soldier Field. Larry says a clean slate would have been best. Seems quaint now the Bears are considering Indiana. Yeah. Oh, one more reason as to why Soldier Field is the way it is. The McCaskies didn't have the money to do it right. The shortest path to an updated stadium was a drastic remodel. Just catching up on our text. Let's catch up on our phone call. 773-763-9278. That's 773-763-9278. Let's get to Dan in Michigan City. Hey, Dan, what's on your mind, my friend? Thanks for calling in.
Hi, Patty. I just want to tell you that how much I love your passion and your show, and all of you at
thank you.
WCPT. You're amazing.
Oh.
It's what keeps me half sane.
Hey,
if you want to know the truth.
You keep me going. I mean, this is. I wake up thinking about this. You know what I mean? Like I look forward to coming and having this conversation. Well, thank you.
Yeah, but I mean, I wake up because of other reasons, but
sure.
None of them good. But anyway, I just wanted to mention about this upcoming speech on Thursday night. What's going to happen here, in my humble opinion, from what I've read on social media and otherwise, is, and John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock, both senators from Georgia, are saying that he's going to say they're illegitimate and he wants them removed.
Yep.
This is the beginning of the end, in my estimation.
The end of the administration or the end of our democracy? You think it's the end of
end of our democracy. This is the beginning. And, of course, with the communist thing also and what have you. I can't understand how we could possibly think we're going to have a free and fair election in November. I seriously don't see how that's going to happen. I pray it does, but I think all of us are starting to realize that's not what's going to happen. We have a cornered animal that knows that he can't let this be a free and fair election. My question is, I guess, what do we do then? Which is what I've presented to Edwin and Tom and Joan, and
none of us have an answer, do we?
Well,
I know, and I can't look. I think part of what has been debilitating is somewhat having a belief, no matter how bad this gets, still believing in the system, and I find it as challenging as you do. Somehow maybe this, I remember thinking early on in the first Trump administration, thinking surely there's somebody who can, there's guardrails. And I agree with you. There are no guardrails. And
there's none. No.
We're at the edge. I don't disagree with you. I think that there has to be, if that indeed is what he does, from within, perhaps, I don't trust the Republicans to do the right thing because they're so far down this path too. Let me think about it some more. before I give you more answers. This will be something I twirl around for tomorrow's show. Maybe me and Ken Mejia.
All right.
Sound good?
Thank you, Patty.
Thank you, Dan. I appreciate it. Take care.
Bye.
I've got to run to a break, but let's get to Jim on the line before I grab our guests. Hey, Jim, what's on your mind before we go to the break?
Yeah, Patty, first of all, Spain, Trump said Spain, so I'm sure you won't give out the trophy. And when you're in
That's right.
When you're in Florence, ask one of the Irish guys what Irish soccer is like. Completely different than this soccer. They love it there. It's very physical. And the other thing that gets me mad, when people talk about generations, Patty, when did it start? I mean, I read Edgar Allan Poe. I don't know, what generation was he in? What generation was anybody in?
I know.
We're, you know what I mean? It drives me nuts when they say boomer or whatever that case may be, because it's so stupid. And the other thing is 45 people have died in custody. 45 now, and these deaths are horrendous.
Yeah.
This last guy had diabetes, no way to get out of the place to get to the hospital, died in the cell, no morphine. Now, thinking the people on the street are bad enough. What are the guards like, Patty? What are the guards like?
If we can see how they're abusing people and murdering people on the streets, I think you're right, Jim. But
they get them cheap. But Geo, the guys making billions on this deal, they're not going to hire. They're going to hire the biggest imbeciles they possibly can to guard the people in the South.
Yep.
Anyway, when you're in Florence, that's what Irish soccer is, because they love it there, and it's much more physical than this soccer. Anyway, Patty, thank you.
Thanks. Take care. Let's take a break here. When we come back, we've got our friends from the DuPage County Dems and their interns, some young folks who are doing some of the hard work, and they're out there, folks. Let's take a break and be back after this on WCPT, KKNW 1150, and hi to all of our digital listeners on Facebook, YouTube, and Substack, Minocqua Brewing Company.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the WeatherLNG Weather Center. Clear skies tonight with a low temperature of 76 degrees and southwest winds at 5 to 10. On Wednesday, we'll see lots of sun with a high temperature of 93. The heat index as high as 100. Thursday, slight chance of an afternoon thunderstorm with a high temperature around 90. And for Friday, chance of thunderstorms with a high of 87. Saturday, scattered thunderstorms with a high temperature around 91 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 93.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
Dive deeper into the heart of the news and stories at WCPT 820 and across the Midwest by checking out our website, heartlandsignal.com.
It's the coverage I can count on every time.
For the latest news updates, in-depth analysis, compelling stories, comprehensive election coverage, live streams, and thought-provoking opinions, head to heartlandsignal.com.
When I need to know, they're there.
They keep me informed and updated wherever I am.
Stay informed with WCPT 820, your go-to source for where facts matter.
Alexa, play WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
You know Minocqua Brewing Company ships right to you because drinking progressively shouldn't require a road trip. You need to try it is and always will be the Gulf of Mexico Mexican Lager. Yeah, that's the real name because when our, let's be generous and say, cognitively adventurous president tried to erase 5 centuries of geographic history with an executive order, the sane half of America grabbed a cold one and said, nah, it's crisp, it's Mexican style, and it pairs beautifully with common sense. And the Freedom Trail Kolsch, smooth, easy drinking, inspired by World War II escape routes that saved lives fleeing Nazi tyranny. Because resistance isn't just a bumper sticker, it's a tradition worth toasting. Order online anytime at MinocquaBrewingCompany.com. They'll ship it right to your door. And for our Collar County friends, find them locally at our Tolly Wine and Company in Rockford, Bootleggers Liquors in Frankfurt, Westside Liquor in Morris, Liquor World in Kankakee, and the Deli Llama Store and Cafe in Lake Villa. Minocqua Brewing Company, progressive beer for people who still give a damn.
No detours, no distractions, just bold ideas and real talk. This is Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining as we continue this conversation in the drive home, and so glad to have you along for the ride. Hello to our friends who are tuning in Seattle on KKNW 1150, our friends who are tuning in on YouTube, Facebook, and Minocqua Brewing Company Substack. We're so glad that you're here. You recognize the voice of our guest who has brought in some interns from an organization that you hopefully know quite a bit about if you're in the Chicagoland area, and especially if you live in DuPage. Reid McCollum joins us. He's the chair of the DuPage County Dems. Hey, Reid, how are you doing today?
Patty, it's great to be here in person.
I know, it's
really
weird.
Excited to have 3 of our 15 interns with us today from DuPage.
15 interns?
Yep.
Oh, my goodness. So tell us about when this program started for interning at the DuPage County Dems.
This is our first year having like an official internship program. It was really exciting. We had closer to 50 high schooler and college-age students apply, and we narrowed it down, and they've been doing a great job knocking doors, recruiting volunteers, phone banking, and staffing our office, and we're definitely going to keep it up every summer.
And was this something that you kind of like sent out notices to schools, at libraries? How did folks learn about this? Online, obviously. I'm guessing they're all online.
Whatever the social medias are,
Yes.
not Facebook, that Gen Z uses. So you have to ask. We could ask them sort of how they heard about it. Actually,
absolutely. Well, thank you so much. And we've got Emaan, correct?
Yes, Emaan.
Emaan, nice to meet you. And
Nice
we
to
have,
meet you.
Thank you, Sophia.
Hi, nice to meet you, Patty.
Hello, hello. And Nick on the end there.
Hi, my name's Nick.
Hi, pleasure to have you all. So let me start with Emaan. How did you learn about an internship with the DuPage
I
County
had
Dems?
reached out to the DuPage Dems to volunteer for their gala and help set up for that. And then I was on the newsletter and I saw news about the internship and decided to apply. So yeah, that's how I got involved.
And was it in that advertisement or the notice about the gala was because they also had like a youth event incorporated into that gala? Was that kind of what drew your attention to?
Yeah, and also just getting involved in politics in general. I reached out and I was like, is there anything I could possibly start doing? And yeah, that was the first event that came up and I've been involved ever since.
Awesome. And how about yourself?
Some of my family worked alongside with Reid for the Sean Caston race, and so it was kind of nice. I got set up with Reid and kind of communicated that way. I also kind of saw it through the newsletter, so that was a great way to get involved.
And you, Nick?
I worked a lot with Emaan. We did Youth and Gov together in high school. I'm a graduate of Lake Park. She's a junior, so I did a lot of stuff with that. I did work for Junaid. I canvassed for him and stuff.
Absolutely.
It was a wonderful experience, but sadly he did not win the congressional.
He was not successful in his race, is what we say.
Yeah, that is correct.
Yeah.
So then Emaan kind of told me about this, and that's kind of how I learned about it and everything.
And had you been, so what drew you to that campaign? Were you interested in, like, do you remember, and I'm going to ask everybody this, like the moment where you're like, well, I need to get involved? Because I don't remember that many. I mean, I went door knocking with my dad, but that's because I was 6 and he was a precinct captain. So, I mean, what was your first introduction or sort of like that instinct or need to get involved?
Well, I'm studying poli-sci in college, so I definitely wanted to get that incentive to like work, and I didn't have anything going on in the summer, so like it was a great experience, like being able to do that. And I learned about him online, and I thought he was a great candidate and everything, so I wanted to see more from him.
Okay. And Emaan, how about yourself? Is your family, are they following politics a lot, or is it something that kind of grew out of like things that are going on in the news?
Honestly, my family is not into politics whatsoever, but I think my family has definitely influenced my passion for politics. I come from a really big family, so something that's always been important to me is like advocacy and communication. So that's kind of where my passion for politics started, as I said. Just being able to give a voice to issues and people who might not have it already. So,
and when you say your family's not very political, like have they responded to the work that you're doing, or do you talk about it?
I do talk about it sometimes, but they are Democrats. They're just not super big on following politics. So they've definitely responded positively. They're definitely excited about what I'm doing, but yeah.
How about your friends? Are your friends like, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about the door knocking and voting. Yeah, got it.
I think everyone's been definitely supportive about it.
Oh, cool.
They're interested in knowing what I do because it's not something a lot of people do, honestly. Having an internship for a political organization during college or during high school for me. So,
well, I think it's great because I think that I think we know that like the conservatives have done this for a long time, where they've gone into schools and Turning Point is a good example, right?
Hillary Youth too.
Yeah, there's all those things. Yes, yeah, that would be a good example. So, how about you, Sophia? What is your family involved or?
Yes, so my family obviously they kind of worked with Sean Caston when he was running, so that was my family's very politically driven. For me, it kind of started, growing up Latina, having a big Hispanic family. It's been definitely interesting to kind of see how this administration has been treating, my people. And so for me, that's what's kind of pushing me, and also women's rights. Like, those are two issues that are extremely important to me growing up in this society. So that's what's really brought me to kind of do this, because, I can't sit around and complain all day. It's important to make a change.
Well, this has been horrific. I mean, I don't even know. And it does feel like it's almost like the pressure was taken off after Renee Good. Well, look, we know Silverio Gonzalez, who was murdered here last year, amongst the first, and then Miramar Martinez, who was shot 5 times, and he was bragging 5 times 7 holes. We have family. My mom sounds Mexican. She looks Mexican. She's from. I mean, it's scary. Do you have family members who I'm afraid to let my mom go. I mean, even though she's been a citizen for over 50 years, she's feisty, and I don't need her to be in a situation where she tells someone where to get off, and next thing I know, she's in the back of a car.
Definitely. I think, like you said, right now, a lot of my family members are feisty, myself included, and so it's just, it's been scary, especially when ICE raids were at their peak. It was definitely scary having some family live on the South Side.
Yeah.
Because, obviously that's a big, focal point, and so having my people, just knowing that they were all being safe, because I know that we all kind of know our way around, and just staying local, staying communicative, and staying positive throughout this time, even though it's really trying, just kind of trying to see the best in it. Just knowing that we're all safe and happy and surrounded with our family is important to us.
And knowing that people are fighting helps.
Definitely.
That's a big part of it.
My family, a lot of us are fighting as well. It's not just me. So it's great to have their support to kind of continue along that path for the next couple of years, or we'll see for how long, but I'm really excited for this.
And you said you started college this year, Nick?
Yeah,
Right.
I'm going to University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh. I'm super excited, studying poli-sci. I'm really enthused,
And you're and going to school in Wisconsin is really unique. I mean, it's a swing state, and I mean, I think that they're going to be an interesting litmus test as far as like a DSA candidate for governor.
Francesca Hong, I'm super enthused. Like, I'm really hoping she wins the primary. I just heard about the second candidate,
Sarah Rodriguez, Lieutenant Governor, right? Lieutenant Governor Rodriguez?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I know who you're talking about.
Her campaign manager was mismanaging funds.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I just heard about this today, and it was what a crazy story,
It's we'll talk about that with we don't need to go in the weeds on that one, but that is a bonkers story. And so, but studying in Wisconsin, you have a lot of opportunity to get involved. Are you doing work there as well with the Democratic organizations?
I plan to join. Obviously, everything's nothing's set in stone. Yeah. Oh, I'm very busy. Yeah, but I'm super excited to join. So that's kind of where I'm at. Hoping to work for Francesca Hong, honestly, but nothing's set in stone.
Well, I mean, it's a smart thing to. I got to, for 5 years, I worked as a policy advisor for the controller of the state of Illinois, Susana Mendoza, and I will say, if I had known that there was something that I like doing, that I was good at, like research and writing and learning about all those things and how you can actually impact people's lives, highly recommend working in offices like that. It was a great opportunity. So when you're on the doors, Sophia, when what are you hearing from folks? What's the number one issue? Is it immigration? Is it women's rights?
Honestly, I think around locally where I kind of knock doors, we stay local to, at least for me, Bloomingdale and Hinsdale. It's a lot of focusing on safety, local safety around towns and in the schools. So that's been a really big thing with Peter Kudlich's campaign, just kind of pushing that out there and making sure that everyone knows that his top priority is safety and keeping the high school safe. But definitely immigration and women's rights have come up. So I just think across the board that everybody's really concerned about how this current administration is moving and all of the things that they're passing across the table. So,
and how about yourself when you're at the doors, Emaan?
I think when I usually ask about Illinois-specific issues, a big thing that comes up is unity across the state. So connecting the North and the South. Yeah, actually, I've heard it multiple times, which is kind of surprising to myself. But obviously, Southern Illinois is very different than Northern Illinois and Chicago. So people are really concerned about how legislation can be passed that are equitable for both the North and the South. So
interesting. Are you hearing that too, Nick?
Yeah, a decent amount, honestly. It ranges, but yeah, I do hear that every now and then.
You look surprised. I mean, have you heard this? I mean, this feedback? Because And I don't know what we can do, but I mean,
I'm thinking about like the transit bill or people that are really closely paying attention to where their tax dollars are going.
Have you guys had a chance to spend time and not like just one session, but I mean like one argument on the floor? But have you spent time in Springfield in the gallery? Oh, I highly recommend.
I haven't spent time like that, but
it's wild. Let me take a break here. We are hanging out with our friends from the DuPage County, the Democratic Party of DuPage County. The chair, Reid McCollum, joins us, and he's brought in three incredible interns. And I have to imagine this reflects the entire group of young people who are passionate and working hard. And I think right now you're instilling confidence and hope in like a lot of people who are listening. So first of all, I want to thank you so much for that and inspiring, hopefully, more people to get involved at any age. That whether it's not too early and it's never too late. So let's take a break here and continue our conversation with our friends. You can go to DuPageDemocrats.com. We're going to find out how we can support the work that you guys are all doing as well when we come back on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150, and all of our friends tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, and now Substack with Minocqua Brewing Company. Please consider subscribing and sharing with your friends and family and checking out our podcast at heartlandsignal.com. More in a moment.
Stephanie Miller here. I am shooting the proverbial poop with guess who? The tummy whisperer. Yep, Renee Barish of Digestive Health Solutions. Renee, there's lots of confusion about food and diet these days. What brings people to you, and how do you help them sort it out?
Great question. People come to me with a garden variety of digestive issues, including bloating, constipation, diarrhea, and heartburn. But the fun doesn't stop there. So many people bypass these symptoms and exhibit skin conditions, low energy, and poor sleep.
Okay, then what?
Well, I provide expert navigation with diet as well as sensitive testing for your digestion and microbiome. These tests provide clear data about what's happening in your body. And now with this info, I create a go-forward plan to help you feel better.
That's great. Thanks.
Thank you, Mama.
You can talk to Renee at 847-207-2034 or visit thetummywhisperer.com. That's 847-207-2034. Just ask for Renee. 847-207-2034.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
No detours, no distractions. Just bold ideas and real talk. This is Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us and continue our drive home here on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KKNW 1150 in Seattle. I am so just thrilled to have our guests in studio. You know Chair Reid McCollum of the Democratic Party of DuPage County, who's joined us many times. We check in with him every few weeks, and it's always a pleasure to have you on the air. And I think have you only been in studio once?
I think only once, and not as chair, as for postcards to swing states.
Yeah,
so.
And we were talking about having like I wanted to do like a forest preserve event and have like the world's largest postcard.
We're going to do a postcard palooza.
Postcard palooza. are you still still organizing those events?
No, still doing postcards. Yeah.
Yeah, let's figure that out. I think there's still some. We would want to do it obviously in DuPage, so we have to we need to get a forest preserve shelter.
Yep.
And we know somebody who runs that, not runs that, but is on the board.
Well, we have our DuPage picnic coming up on August 9th, so people can get postcards there.
I'm actually going to be in Wisconsin. I do a lot of work in Racine, Kenosha, Elkhorn, Whitewater. I do a lot of work with the Dems there because that's a flippable area kind of a thing situation. And Nick is going to school at University of Wisconsin Oshkosh, studying political science.
Yes, that is true.
And is one of the interns working with the Democratic Party of DuPage County. When I kind of threw out there that I used to work for the controller's office, so I was a policy advisor, and it's really, I highly recommend the work that you're all doing. You're already kind of talking about policy. I mean, you mentioned this idea that folks in your county are wondering, like thinking about downstate Illinois, and really, if you go to Springfield, like you'll see the arguments. It is downstate has such a disregard because it's all, as you mentioned, it's different. It's a strong red area, and they have such a disdain for Chicago. Like they're dripping of disdain for we're not going to go into policy. Let's talk about the work that you're doing. So Reid, how can we help the work that the interns are doing with DuPage Dems?
Well, we are paying them a stipend, so if people want to help support making sure that we can not have the interns lose money supporting us and knocking doors, they can chip in at DuPageDemocrats.com and just click donate. They can also meet our interns. So the DuPage County Fair is coming up at the fairgrounds from July 23rd to the 26th, and our interns will be there at the fair booth. We'll have elected officials there. That'll be a great time. And they can also, the interns are phone banking. And so if you're in DuPage and the interns call and ask if you can come knock doors, say yes. Say you'll write some postcards. We're doing postcards in DuPage. And just be nice to them and help them organize you into taking more action.
I'm going to ask you a question first so that everybody has a chance to prepare for them. I ask them the same question, Reid. For you, like for people who've come up to you, do you have a moment that jumps out at you of talking to a constituent that like sticks with you? That kind of, because for me, there's always a moment where somebody comes to you with a concern or a fear or an issue that's important to them. But because I'll give you an example. When I was knocking doors for one of the judges, I think that was running in your area, but this is after Dobbs, was decided. Again, same, like 17 years old from Park Ridge, and she couldn't not be on the. I'll never forget her. I mean, like she was like, I have to be out here talking to people about my future and how important this is. Do you have moments like that stick out for you?
Yeah, in 2018, when they were trying to repeal the Affordable Care Act, I talked to a young man who was just in the final stages of surviving cancer, and said, like, I don't have time to vote. Like, I'm just dealing with cancer treatment. Getting over it, getting back on my feet. And I said, you have to vote because they're trying to rip away. You will have a pre-existing condition for the rest of your life. And this could be the difference between medical bankruptcy and being able to have a chance to not just survive cancer, but to have an economic future and not be bankrupt because of it. And it was pouring rain. And he was like, he looked freaked out and he was like, I have to go vote. And then I shared that on social media. I mean, this was in 2018, but those kind of stories happen and you remember them for sure.
Well, and I saw that our guest might be concerned about being put on the spot. But so let me come back to the Chicago versus Southern Illinois, because I was really surprised to find out about that. Unless you do think of a story. Nick, do you have a story that jumps out at you?
Sophia, you remember when we were at the office and that one guy came in? Yeah, and he was just like, trying to unsubscribe. He was
very upset.
Yeah,
very upset
about getting information from the Democratic Party of DuPage.
No, he was just like, he totally lost faith in the system, and it was just really sad. Yeah, we were working with a very nice woman, and she was like, before he even walked in, she's like, yeah, it's super important we vote. It's super important we participate. And this guy just came in like swinging, like what was he saying?
He just felt as though he was kind of losing faith in the system and, both sides from Republicans and Democrats. And, he was moving out of state, so he came to unregister with Illinois. And so, unfortunately, we're not able to do that in office. But one of our office volunteers, Betty, she was like there to help diffuse the situation. And I think it really taught Nick and I a lot about how to kind of handle people who are losing faith in politics, because once he left, he had felt more cooled off, and he listened to what we had to say and we felt a little bit more hopeful about what we had told him and how he could get involved into the next state that he was moving to. And
that's the thing, is that you want to diffuse a situation like that, right? And not have somebody like yelling.
Definitely.
Because I mean, in your brain, you're like, it's not my fault. And I tell you, we have listeners that call here and are frustrated about the system. And I have to ask, I mean, all of you all were born after 9/11, 2001, obviously. And you have always, I mean, the majority of your life has been under this sort of just cloud of a Trump administration and the decisions that have been made, and you still feel compelled to fight for not even like fight always seems like to get involved, to roll your sleeves up, to do something about it. And it would be very easy for you to be like, well, I want to go hang out with my friends. I mean, I wish that we had been paying attention, because part of why we're here is that we weren't. Don't you think, Reid?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not you specifically, but I mean, I would say
all our generations, Patty. We let us hear.
Yeah, it's we were just kind of placated by the things around, and it would be easy for you guys to just be self-absorbed, right? Don't you think, Nick?
Yeah, I do think that.
And yeah, and so be appreciative for what we're doing. I am. And that's a long way of my saying how much I'm impressed by you guys and grateful for you.
Thank you, Patty.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere. We're going to continue the conversation. I'm going to check and see my texts and stuff like that. I'm keeping you guys for another segment. I probably should tell my next guest, but I'm not. I think he forgot anyway. No, I'm just teasing. I'll check in with him. So what do you have? You said you have the county fair coming up, DuPage County Fair.
The county fair is the 23rd to 26th, and it's just all day those days. And then our picnic is August 9th, Sunday, August 9th. It's free. It's at the Forest Preserve, Hidden Lake. It's a great time. We'll have candidates stop by, free food. It's family friendly. Our interns will be staffing, Emaan is staffing the kids area. And it's just a great time to hang out as Democrats and, be part of a community, which we need more of right now, especially.
Yeah, and I hope that more folks who feel cynical or, just disenfranchised or whatever the emotion is, I hope that hearing these conversations inspire people to get involved. Before we go to the break, would you say that there's one race in particular that people are talking, aside from, tell me, what races are people engaged in more, Sophia?
I would definitely say Peter Coolidge. I think once we kind of give that information on him, that he would be, the first Democrat sheriff in over, I believe, 180 years. I believe some timeline like that. I think that's definitely like something that is pushing them to want to go out, because, flipping a seat is always very exciting, but especially when it's been 180 years. I think that that's something that I'm excited for, and what the constituents are excited for as well.
Yeah, especially what we're going through with law enforcement, federal and local. How about yourself, Emaan?
I think it's really cool to talk to people with local candidates. There's candidates like Erica Bray Parker, who I'll go to doors and people had her as their teacher. So it's definitely cool conversations to have. Amazing. I remember one guy, I opened the door, I handed him the literature, and he's looking, and he goes, "This was my professor." And I was like, that's definitely possible. And he's like, "Oh my God, she was a great teacher."
Aww.
And it's definitely fun to have those conversations.
I love that. Nick, we have to hold on for your answer when we come back. You're going to have, unless it's fast, but we got to take a break here because I'm already late. More after this on WCPT 820 Heartland, Signal KKNW 1150, and all our friends watching digitally. We're talking to the wonderful interns from the Democratic Party of DuPage County. More after this.
This is a WCPT moment in labor. In the summer of 1909 in McKees Rocks, Pennsylvania, the workers of the Pressed Steel Car Company went on strike due to missing wages. 5,000 workers, mostly immigrants from Eastern European countries, walked out. They protested a corrupt payment system called pooling. The workers also claimed their wives and daughters were sexually assaulted in order to repay debts accumulated for food and housing. On average, one worker would die every day from the poor safety conditions. The workers received solidarity from the International Workers of the World, Standard Steel Car Company of Butler, and the railway trainmen and streetcar motormen who refused to haul scab workers into the city. The strike culminated in a bloody confrontation resulting in the deaths of at least 12 workers and one deputy sheriff, with many more workers injured. This led to a settlement which gave workers increased wages at a posted pay rate and ended the abuses of the company's housing practices. This has been a WCPT moment in labor. We're working for your rights.
Amazon Business. With smart business buying, innovative AI tools optimize your purchasing experience, paired with delivery options built for business. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. The government's latest inflation gauge shows consumer prices 3.5% higher in June than a year ago, but the report also shows prices actually down from May. Meanwhile, Sagamagani reports the Federal Reserve's new chair is promising to crush inflation, but not offering hints on the central bank's next move.
Inflation's a choice.
And once the Fed gets its policies right,
the inflation surge of the last 5 years will be a thing of the past.
In Kevin Warsh's first congressional testimony since becoming chair in May,
the members of our committee have no tolerance for persistently elevated inflation.
But it's a committee sharply divided between forecasting higher interest rates this year, keeping them the same, or even cutting. Warsh is not saying what he prefers. He testified after the government reported inflation fell 0.4% between May and June, mainly due to lower gas prices. Sagar Magani, Washington.
Oil prices edged higher today as President Trump backed away from his plan to charge fees in the Strait of Hormuz. He says he's been speaking to leaders in the Gulf region.
Kings and emirs and all of the people that we all know and we all love, and they've been very strong partners. And they said, we'd love to do it a different way. We'd love to invest in the United States with billions and billions of dollars.
After another wave of strikes, U.S. Central Command says it has reimposed its blockade of Iranian ports in response to Iran's attacks on commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz. The AP's learned ICE officers have been told to suspend most vehicle stops after 2 deadly shootings in a little over a week. And the House has passed a bill that would make daylight saving time permanent, meaning no turning back the clock in the fall. The Senate would also have to pass the bill before it could become law. This is AP News. Mike Kempen on Major League Baseball's All-Star festivities.
This chain right here, yeah, this is a tough chain. Honestly, it's the home run derby champ chain. I don't know if it's coming off tonight in all.
Jordan Walker silenced Philadelphia's Boo Birds by homering on its last 6 swings.
The pressure, people booing me.
Chasing down Phillies slugger Kyle Schwarber in the final round to win the home run derby. Walker becomes the first St. Louis Cardinal to do so.
I think I just had fun no matter what. Like every round I was having a good time, As a kid, I grew up, my favorite thing to do playing baseball is hitting home runs. So when the competition is, dedicated to doing it, I'm going to have fun doing it.
This evening, it's Major League Baseball's All-Star Game. Philadelphia's Christopher Sanchez will start for the National League. Toronto's Dylan Cease will be on the mound for the American League. I'm Mike Kempen.
The latest at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
This is 8:20 a.m. WCPT Willow Springs and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now, your WCPT 820 weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weather LNG Weather Center. Clear skies tonight with a low temperature of 76 degrees and southwest winds at 5 to 10. On Wednesday, we'll see lots of sun with a high temperature of 93. The heat index as high as 100. Thursday, slight chance of an afternoon thunderstorm with a high temperature around 90. And for Friday, chance of thunderstorms with a high of 87. Saturday, scattered thunderstorms with a high temperature around 91 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 93.
Let's be honest. The National Symphony may not be in his future, but he wanted to try violin. So you said yes because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more about keeping your kids safe in your vehicle at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Many of our U.S. veterans and service members face challenges, mental health struggles, housing obstacles, food insecurity, and social isolation, to name just a few. I'm Bob Woodruff. My family and I started the Bob Woodruff Foundation in 2006 after I sustained a life-threatening injury while reporting from Iraq. Our service members had my back that day, and we need to have theirs now more than ever. At our foundation, we invest in solutions, so learn more about our work at bobwoodrufffoundation.org/success.
Because facts matter. You're listening to WCPT 820.
Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez. From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing asses says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue our conversation and drive it home here on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150 in Seattle. Now joining us, our friends in Seattle, Minneapolis on KTNF AM 950. Hello to everyone tuning in digitally on Facebook, YouTube, Monaco Brewing Company. Please subscribe and share with your friends and family so they can join the conversation. And you can catch up with any of our conversations. If you missed something, you want to go back, we're at heartlandsignal.com. And I want to thank our sponsors, Pride Coffee Roasters. Go to pridecoffeeroasters.com. Put in an order for the best single origin roasted to order coffee beans you have ever had. Jackie and Patty are at your farmers markets in the Chicagoland area, so you can go to their website and see where they will be next, including the Jefferson Park Sunday Market, where I volunteer every second and fourth Sunday of the month, so you can stop by and say hello. We want to thank our friends at Source Solar. Go to source.solar, talk to Peter Sorellis, and find out how you can go green to save green. That's source.solar, and he's got opportunities for you to get funding because there's an Illinois program, Solar for All, that will help you through that process. We also want to thank our friends at Monaco Brewing Company. Please go to monacobrewingcompany.com. Not all of it's beer. We've got a whole marketplace of some great items, and you'll be supporting companies that are owned by folks who are never, ever going to give a dime to MAGA. So go to Monaco Brewing Company Substack and please subscribe and learn more about the work that they do there. We also want to thank our friends at Are You Really Winning, our friends at Social Change and Berman, Kia, and Subaru. Thank you to all for all your support. I want to thank our guests who are in studio for hanging in there and staying along. Also want to thank Ben Cominos for being amenable to doing a segment a little bit later than we had planned, because I wanted to keep our guests. They drove all the way from DuPage. I don't know what part of DuPage, but the chair of the Democratic Party of DuPage County, Reid McCollum. How far did you guys have to come? How long of the drive was that? Like 40? Were you picking everybody up?
Everybody came to my house in Hinsdale, which is close to Cook County,
yes.
And then we caravanned over to make sure we were all on time. So it's about an hour from there.
Yeah, you were almost more on time than I was, which is just embarrassing for me.
Yeah, I think we drove past you.
Yeah, really, probably. But thank you so much for joining us. And for folks who are just tuning in, tell us a bit about providing an opportunity for young folks to get involved with the Democratic Party of DuPage.
I mean, the way to do it is to compensate them, to give them agency, and help them build the skills to follow their dreams, to get involved in politics. So, I mean, we've had a great opportunity for them. Just on Monday, we had Representative Nabila Syed, who was actually one of my fellows in 2018 before she went to college, before she was crushing it in the state legislature. Yeah. And so we're going to go knock doors for her on Sunday. But it's really important just to bring young folks involved, and then let them, Sarah, our executive director, is having them do projects, and they're setting the direction for that, really just taking the lead on that. And, you can imagine our social media has stepped up its game this summer as well, since it's not, us old folks doing the social media.
Well, and to that, by the way, I think that we need more of that organizing and sort of that forethought, right? Because I go to a lot of events in Wisconsin, as I told you. I don't know if you've had a chance, Nick, to go to some events. Not for nothing, but the folks are my age and up, and so that's Gen X and Boomers, and I think that we're all trying to find ways, and you have, I think, succeeded. You said you have 15 interns?
15. I mean, I think for us, part of it was just the credibility. When, the first two big annual fundraisers as chair, our two keynote speakers were the youngest state party chair in the country, Anderson Clayton, who took over the North Carolina State Party at the age of 23. And then David Hogg, who, got involved after surviving the Parkland school shooting. And, we had, I think, 130 young folks at our fundraiser. And he said it from the stage. He said, never been to a fundraiser where there have been this many young people. It's unheard of. And that was
great, you guys.
The hard work for us to, provide free tickets and sponsor tickets, and then get the word out to high schools to have folks. So it's a lot easier to build a good internship program after that than it is to just say, we need to, get more young people involved.
Yeah.
And then, not have the credibility.
That's very smart, and I'm glad that worked out so well too. And as Reid mentioned door knocking. I don't know, it's one thing to think, I'm just gonna go door knocking. Was there any part of that was challenging? Sophia, I'll start with you.
I had a little bit of apprehension going door to door. I get nervous publicly speaking, and I think if I had done this radio session before I'd done some door knocking, I think I would have just not been able to. I've just been shaking in my boots. But luckily, I just am afraid of public speaking, honestly. And I think going door to door, I think it was kind of some exposure therapy.
Yes.
So I
agree.
So I think it was great to kind of have that opportunity and, continue to have that opportunity to kind of get hands-on and get involved in my community. So
how about yourself, Emaan?
I'd say similar to Sophia, I was a little worried when I was starting.
It's
but
daunting.
after, for sure, talking to so many different people. But I think that's the part I love most about it. The exposure to so many different types of people and so many different opinions. It can definitely be fun. There's definitely challenges to it, but yeah, it's definitely an interesting opportunity.
And it never, it's funny. I always felt like, because I ran for office, people would invite me in, and then you feel like you don't want to be rude, but then I had to text somebody on my campaign. I'm like, I think I live here now. Please come get me. So I would always say I can't. If they haven't already told you, don't go to another location. Don't go to their homes. How about you, Nick? What are your thoughts on door knocking?
It was initially very scary. It's just you're going door to door. It's a little awkward.
Yeah.
On your back, he's being all scary, telling you you're doing a bad job, but then you
never.
And then but once you climb that hill, you're just rolling, it's going house to house, putting the things on, putting the lit on the door, and it's honestly a roll. Like, it's just so much fun.
Yeah, and it's funny, I don't know if you've had a chance to go door knocking in rural areas. I mean, you have some pretty spread out areas of DuPage County, right?
We haven't done a lot of rural door knocking in DuPage.
You have to come up to Wisconsin with me sometime.
Waukesha is my place. I know you do Walworth too. So
it's wild. Anyway, those are stories for another time. So what with the you've got events coming up. You got the county fair. You guys are doing a booth there. Have you done any sort of these big public events where you're at a tent or a booth for Democratic Party DuPage?
No,
this is your first one?
No, this is the first one.
Yeah, me too.
That's exciting. I think it'll be really fun. Plus, I think a lot of people will be drawn. Don't you think there's going to be a lot of energy for seeking out the work that you do, Reid?
I think it'll depend on if it's not 100 degrees that day. But
yeah, people are going to be cranky. Yeah.
It's tough for door knocking, too. They got to meet Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton for a big kickoff.
Mm-hmm. That was awesome, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Stunned.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, hello.
Isn't that exciting? That's very cool. And so one of the things that you guys mentioned, I think you mentioned, Emaan, was talking to people about their local electeds. Do you find that people are aware of who their state rep is and who their state senator is, or are they kind of not? They're still being walked through that too?
Honestly, they usually don't know any of the candidates or even who their state rep currently is.
Yeah.
So it's definitely interesting to go and talk about how these people are so connected to what these candidates are doing. And it's definitely weird to see how people don't really care about this local level, even though it affects them so hugely on their day-to-day life.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly right. Are you having those conversations, Nick, where you're trying to explain why this is not more important, but we got to be engaged, right?
I remember there was one woman, she cooked me, honestly, she gave me a lesson.
They will do that, won't they?
Yeah. It was I was canvassing for Peter Coolidge, and she was like, yeah, he's a big improvement on the former Republican who didn't follow the laws and stuff, or it was along those lines.
Right.
It was something about vaccines, and I was like, I didn't know that. Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah,
that's kind of fun when you have a kind of a back and forth.
I know. Yeah, it was really fun. Yeah.
Are you learning something, Sophia, about your community that sort of is surprising to you? I know I mentioned that earlier, a moment, but it's different when you live in a community than when you are interacting with people at such an intimate level on their porches, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. It's way more intimate than, kind of seeing what the local Facebook groups are posting about. It's you kind of hear from the oh my gosh, I'm blanking from their mouths. You kind of get to hear exactly what they're thinking. So it's been really interesting to kind of learn what they want on a school level, and how they kind of want their kids, not necessarily education, but their safety involved in school and things like that. And also, on the higher stakes level, kind of getting involved with Peter Coolidge, like I said earlier, but also Amanda Zahorik. She's one of the youngest running for state representative, and I think that is so inspiring. And I think that a lot of older people are hearing that a millennial is running for office, and I think that they've been really impressed by that, because it's time that new people are coming into office, and I think it's impressive when you have a young woman like her who's very successful and very driven to help change the community and things like that.
That's awesome. I love hearing that you're enthusiastic about it too. And I guess I should ask, do any of you, I'll start with you, Emaan, do you think you'll ever run for office, or do you think this is something you'd rather do behind the scenes and politics? It's too soon to ask, maybe.
No, I wouldn't say it's too soon to ask.
Great.
I think that's definitely something I look forward to in the future. And I think this is definitely a great way to see the behind the scenes of what goes on in campaigns and just voting in general.
Do you? I'll ask you both. I'll ask you this as well. Follow up question to all of you. Do you see when you're watching the news or on social media? Do you you see how things could be done better? Now that you're on the inside of it, that's how I would do it.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
There are definitely places where it's wow, it's not as difficult as it always seems.
Yes!
You can see how people can actually collaborate and come together and create something now that you're actually part of it.
Yeah.
There are definitely ways to change the system when you're inside of it. So. How
about you, Nick? Do you think you'll run for office?
You know what? It is too soon to ask for me personally. I don't know what's next in my future, but I definitely would like to circle back to the candidates. Amanda Zahorik.
Oh, yeah.
She went to the same high school as me and Emaan, so that's super cool. It's super relatable.
Yes.
And running against a January 6er, that's definitely a big reason to get out and vote. And then also Ben McAdams. He brings back the Junaid memories. He's DSA endorsed. He's very progressive. He's in kind of a swing district, so he is definitely going to have to appeal to those moderates. But yeah, I think he would be a great candidate and everything.
And when you say, we were talking about DSA a little bit, we mentioned Francesca Hong, who's running in Wisconsin for governor. Are you finding those conversations interesting, I guess, when people do they ask you about DSA? Does it come up at all for you?
I had one guy, he asked me, are you in a communist organization or anything? God. It was ridiculous.
You're like Joe McCarthy wants a word. Come on now. Wow. How about you, Sophia? Do you think you'll ever run for office?
It's definitely on my plan. I'm currently studying political science. So it's hopefully law school, kind of get through that and then set myself up and then run for office. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we'll see.
I will say, so I ran for state rep in 2020, and I will say it's one of the best things I ever did, one of the best choices I ever made, and I was not successful in my race, and yet I think it's one of the best choices. We all have our reasons for running, and it's always our community, because we have a perspective we know that deserves to be represented. Well, Reid, this has been fantastic.
Patty, I never plan to run for office. I will help Emaan and Sophia with their campaigns. You do hold an office.
This is an elected position, isn't it? The chair of the Democratic Party of DuPage?
Yes.
So you're being facetious. No, you're being a liar. You're being silly.
Yes.
That part. Do you think you'll run for any other office?
No.
Oh, we're not having any breaking news on my show? All right, then. Reid, what do you want folks to know about before we let you back on the road in traffic?
Get involved. I mean, we've had the interns, the young folks, knocking more doors than the rest of our generations this summer. They're putting us to shame. So get involved. Go to DuPageDemocrats.com, sign up to volunteer, come to our picnic on August 9th, meet the interns. Chip in to help us, compensate them for their hard work. And they will inspire you in person in addition to being on the radio.
Well, thank you so much for all of you for coming in today. And I wish you the best. And don't hesitate to come back. We'd love, bring folks. We'll figure out a way to rotate people if you have more people. But thank you for doing this work, all of you. And look forward to following you all. Should we be following you on social media?
Please do. Please
do. Reid will share it with me. I don't know if we want to put all that out there. Reid's like, I don't know. All right. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Are you taking them to Superdog after this? I didn't mean to put that in your head. Sorry, everybody. Let's take a break here. We'll continue our conversation. And Ben Cominos standing by. Thank you so much, everybody. 773-763-9278. If you want to send us a text, we'd love to hear from you. More in a moment on WCPT, KKNW, KTNF, and all of our digital platforms. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
When you've got real work to do, Metal Supermarkets will help you get it done fast. With a huge variety of metals in stock, we can help no matter what job comes your way. And all it takes is a few clicks. We make buying metal online easy so you can spend less time shopping and more time getting things done. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for metal. Place an order online today at metalsupermarkets.com.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
When you get a diagnosis of Parkinson's disease, things get real.
And nobody understands that better than the Parkinson's Foundation. All across the country, we provide resources and support in the fight against Parkinson's, a neurological disease that affects movement.
The Parkinson's Foundation is dedicated to improving care and advancing research towards a cure.
And when you call our helpline, you'll speak to a real person who can help you find the right information. Because while living with Parkinson's can be challenging, there are things you can do to improve your quality of life. So, whether you're newly diagnosed, have been living with Parkinson's for years, or caring for a loved one,
when Parkinson's gets real, find real answers at the Parkinson's Foundation.
Go to parkinson.org or call our helpline at 1-800-4PD-INFO, 1-800-473-4636. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
Hey Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's progressive talk from TuneIn.
Here's great news for those Chicagoans heading up to southern Wisconsin.
Should you ever forget to load up on Progressive brews from the local favorites like Rogers Park Provisions or Park West Liquor in Lincoln Park, Minocqua Brewing Company beer is now conveniently available at Dream Liquor and Cigar in Kenosha and in the Lake Geneva area at Delavan Liquor and Smoke in Delavan. If the great town of Madison, Wisconsin is your jam, please remember to swing into the Minocqua Brewing Company tap room at 2927 East Washington Avenue to grab some Resistance beer, pizza, t-shirts, and progressive camaraderie.
No detours, no distractions, just bold ideas and real talk. This is Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. We continue our conversation here on WCPT. Joining me on the line right now is Ben Cominos. He hosts Ben previously hosted a show, and the situation's changed. He is now he's on YouTube and Minocqua Brewing Company, Substack. Ben, you tell folks where you want them to find you on all those things.
Yeah, so I basically, I'm a not fully, I have a couple sponsors lined up, but a basically independent operation at this point. YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, soon to be Twitch. We're just going to be everywhere. My focus is YouTube, though. So anybody who can throw me a subscribe, everyone helps right now. So please follow suit. I was getting too loud, I think, Patty. I ran afoul of the good old boy network, and here we are. But I don't. Honestly, I take it as a compliment. I'm more invigorated than ever right now, and I feel a little uncaged. I feel outside the box. I'm kind of excited about it.
Well said. Well said. By the way, I love that shirt, Folds of Honor. I know that you're originally from Pittsburgh. That's a great shirt though. I love that for folks.
Yeah, they do have a good message. They provide scholarships for people that lose their parents in the armed services. So, I mean, obviously very valid message. So happy to support it. Absolutely.
That's fantastic. And you have been, so last week you wrote a piece from Minocqua Brewing Company, Substack. Your column, Ben's Columns, appears every Tuesday. And please subscribe, follow, like, enjoy, restack. About what Democrats, and I've said this before too, is that we need to stop playing defense. And
yeah.
And you kind of looped that, you kind of blended that together as well with your reaction to developing news in Wisconsin in your piece that we published today. Talk to us a little bit about Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez. We just kind of touched on it a moment ago, but holy moly.
Yeah, it doesn't look good, but as somebody who, and like, obviously I'm still a bit bent out of shape about it, but I put my trust in people, and you don't expect to get the rug pulled out from under you. And that's kind of what happened to Sarah Rodriguez, at least how it's being described. I would argue there's people contemplating whether or not she knew. I find that hard to believe.
Right.
Because if you did, like, eventually that shoe would drop, and there clearly wasn't a backup plan, and she's not a stupid woman. So, like, that doesn't make any sense to me. So it seems like she hired a bad campaign manager who, whether it was an honest mistake, whether there was skimming off the top, whatever was happening, nothing is concrete right now. It looks bad. She's sitting there with $200,000 less than a month before a primary that is heavily contested. A lot of people threw a lot of money into this race, like regular people that are now saying, like, wait, so you're telling me that I gave you $25 when I'm living paycheck to paycheck and you don't know where that money is now? A lot of people feeling hurt and betrayed. But and I said it in the piece, I said it on my show this morning, and I'll say it till the primary. I don't think Donald Trump has 3 scandals worse than this today.
I get that.
We found out about 3 scandals today. And like Sarah Rodriguez, go ahead.
No, I get it. It's just when I ran for office, like one of the things that my high profile supporters told me was like, you better have every single dime accounted for. And I had a compliance officer who made sure that every single dollar spent. At any rate, that's neither here nor there. The thing aside from that, and I don't have any thoughts as to whether or not she knew. My concern is for a healthy race, she needed to be competitive. And if there are TV ads that are not running because that money wasn't paid, that's the part that I was looking at. Like it junks up everything. And in the last few weeks of a race, it could be catastrophic is what I'm saying.
Absolutely. And she wasn't a distant third, but she was an obvious third.
Okay.
Behind Hong and Barnes, based on all polling data, which we all know polling can be wrong. But by and large, you see the people though saying this is indicative of the fact that she cannot be governor. And I say nothing is further from the truth. And I am not voting for Sarah Rodriguez. I'm not doing damage control or trying to cover for a stupid mistake. I'm saying she should stay in the race. It is a race about ideas, and she represents a centrist Democratic Party that may very well be the largest percentage of the voting demographic when it's all said and done. And if that's what Wisconsin wants, we all make mistakes. We all make bad hires. This, to me, it's not a Graham Plattner situation. This, to me, is not a reason to drop out. I think it's being blown out of proportion by people that are A, behind her in the polls, feeling opportunistic. B, people are ahead of her in the polls and see an opportunity to push a major contender out. And C, Tiny Tom Tiffany trying to pounce on anything that isn't his failed administration.
Tiny Tom Tiffany is the only way I'll think of him from now on. I think you and I both, look at stories you discussed in, whether it's policy or actions. Violence is a thing I know that really sets you off. And what's happened over the last week with these, what were your thoughts when you heard that DHS has ordered, or Mark Wayne Mullen has said no more traffic stops so we don't kill people anymore?
Yeah, I mean, I hate how, it's an overused cliche at this point, but I feel like we're all the frog in the boiling water.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure I don't need to tell you, I think the fact that there are Hispanic names attached to the last two executions is why it's not getting nearly the same kind of coverage that Patti and Renee Good. There's no other rationale that I can figure out as to why we're getting basically radio silence on the matter in terms of mainstream media coverage. It's absolutely disgusting. And this was, not to boil it down to political wins and losses, but they knew in February that this was tanking their party and they took everybody off the streets. And now it's like they're doubling down on it as they get closer. And these people are simply not qualified. I operate every time like ICE was 100% at fault, and I am always borne out to be accurate by the time all the evidence is made clear.
Oh, and every time it's been by the end of the day. And I think part of it, for one, they're staying away from protesters, and that's what both Renee Good and Alex Patti would be, I guess, categorized for them.
Sure.
So that's part of it. And they know targeting Latinos, as you mentioned, Miramar Martinez, Silverio Gonzalez in Chicago. Both of them, Miramar was shot 5 times, 7 holes, as the shooter liked to brag. Same thing. You're right. And the other thing was those two murders, Patti and Good, were so immediately shared. I mean, we all saw that video within moments, and this is more kind of cobbled together by security cameras. No body cams, once again, is part of the problem. But
and MAGA wants to tell you you're innocent until proven guilty. F that. Turn your body cameras on, or you're guilty.
Well,
the end.
Would they get innocent until proven guilty, but the dead person had no shot at it?
Right.
I mean,
right. And it's the wrong guy.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't the target. Who's supposed to be the target of an execution in their car? And the "don't tread on me" crowd screaming "comply or die" is peak bootlicking, is all I'm saying.
Oh, it's because they're not being asked to socially distance in the middle of the pandemic. So it's not real tyranny. It's, this is just making sure the borders are secure, whatever the hell they say these days. But it's hard to watch. It's nice at least that more than half of us are speaking out about it, but it's crazy that it's not a much larger percentage. Yeah. We're at 12 people almost that have been assassinated by government officials with basically no accountability. And we're all just sometimes you get the bear. What are we talking about here?
Exactly. It's Ben Cominos. Ben, tell folks about all the work that you're doing and how they can support this work. That we need voices like yours.
Yeah, like I was saying at the beginning, check me out on YouTube, please. Just search my name, Ben Cominos, throw me a subscribe. I just got enough subscribers to monetize that, so I'll let you guys know if there's a paid subscription model in the near future here. And just, repost whatever you see. But I promise you, my voice is louder than it's ever been. I joke, I got 80% of the kids in the divorce because it seems like I took the bulk of the audience with me.
Good.
So
go get those sponsors. Go get those sponsors, too. Thanks.
Absolutely.
That's Ben Cominos. Thank you, Ben. We'll talk to you very soon. And I'll make sure that I clear the decks better. Thank you.
Yeah, all good. You take it easy. We'll get you on Outside the Box soon too. So we'll start crossing streams again.
I like it.
We used to.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Ben. Have a great night.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we've got our friends from Timeless Toys. Had a lovely interview with them, and I want to share that with you. More after this on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNF 1150, and KTNF AM 950.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the WeatherLNG Weather Center. Clear skies tonight with a low temperature of 76 degrees and southwest winds at 5 to 10. On Wednesday, we'll see lots of sun with a high temperature of 93. The heat index as high as 100. Thursday, slight chance of an afternoon thunderstorm with a high temperature around 90. And for Friday, chance of thunderstorms with a high of 87. Saturday, scattered thunderstorms with a high temperature around 91 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 93.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
I am often asked, why is it important to have a living trust? The most important reason is control, being able to control where your investment accounts, retirement accounts, and your home go upon your passing. This is Tony Moret. I've been an estate planning lawyer here in the Chicago area for over 35 years. You have probably heard my ads here on WCPT over the last several years, and it has been a privilege to be on their airwaves. The reality is, for most people, their assets will go through a court-supervised process in probate court, which can be expensive and takes many months. Having a living trust will make sure this does not happen. Control of your assets will be handled directly by your trusted family member or friend. I will explain every step of the process to make sure you are comfortable with the plan as we move forward. Please call me at 847-996-0496 to start. There is no fee for the initial consultation and no obligation. Again, my phone is 847-996-0496. I look forward to speaking with you.
Because facts matter. You're listening to WCPT 820.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. We continue our conversation here on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KKNW 1150 in Seattle, KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul. We're so thrilled to have you all joining us for these conversations. And, of course, our friends who are tuning in on Facebook or YouTube. And now, of course, on Minocqua Brewing Company's live stream. And if you are listening to this show on a podcast, we're so grateful that you're a future listener because all of our podcasts are available at heartlandsignal.com. So make sure you download the latest episodes. Or if you missed something, you want to go back and say, what was that conversation about? That one about toys? Because that's the one we're having today. You've already seen all of the displays up in your stores. I've seen signs even at the Forest Preserve about back to school events. And we are, as soon as the 4th of July, the last firework is lit, although they still keep going off. The fireworks mean that the back to school season has started. Timeless Toys is an independent store in Chicago in Lincoln Square. And they're transforming the annual transition into an opportunity for growth. And joining me in studio is Flavia. Flavia, am I saying your name correctly?
Yeah, Flavia Pallozzi, yeah.
Flavia Pallozzi, who we've had on the show before to talk about the great toys you guys have. Tell folks a little bit about Timeless Toys and that location, because it's a really charming area that I know I've talked about before, but you now are a member of the community. Tell us a little bit about Lincoln Square and Timeless Toys.
Lincoln Square is such a wonderful neighborhood. It's really pedestrian friendly, and in general, it's been something that's really heralded the small business movement. There's so many wonderful small mom and pop shops. We are lucky to be included in that number. We have been there for 33 years on that same block. And just getting a chance to participate with a really active Chamber of Commerce and getting to participate in as many community events are held there. It's really a wonderful neighborhood. So if you haven't been, we invite you to come check it out.
Yeah, folks. And it's so accessible, too. It's right off the Brown line. It's if you're at Lawrence and Western, you've hit the neighborhood. And there's some great restaurants and, as you mentioned, a lot of great shops and really fun activities throughout the neighborhood. And Timeless Toys has been, I think that every neighborhood needs that. Like, where do the kids go? Where do you get the local goods? And you guys have you have a focus on hands-on toys, developmental toys. So let's start with some kids are going into preschool. So what do we got for our preschoolers going back to school?
It's a big scary moment, a moment of change.
Yeah.
Some kids are more adept at handling it than others, but in a world where things are changing all the time, it's great to start working on those skills, whether it's their first day of school or first day of camp, anything like that. But specifically for back to school, for the little ones, for what we like to call pre-readers, we have an excellent assortment of books for them. I've got some titles here with me today.
Yes.
We have Welcome to Our Classroom, which is part of a fabulous series written by Alexandra Penfold and Suzanne Kaufman. They have a few in this series that all celebrate diversity, inclusion, emotional intelligence, and the big unknown, that world out there. When a kid first starts pre-K, that's really their introduction outside of a controlled environment where their parents are, like at the park or at a playground or something like that. And they're really put in a new environment and they learn rules in a new way for the first time. So we really want to highlight those books that help celebrate that. We also have In This Classroom by Andrew Hackett. We have Kindergarten Gets Ready by Naomi Danis, and a couple other books that we really recommend. But for those young ones, there's also, some early fidgets that they have as well. And those kind of work across all ages, but that's what we recommend for the first ones who are getting this first introduction into kind of the structure they're going to have for the next 12 years. It's a big jump.
I love that. And I have to say, what great books to be able to read to your child over the summer to get them excited, to get them used to the idea, sort of what the structure might look like in those stories, right? Mm-hmm. I will say, folks, I know that the studies are out, and hopefully you pay attention to how important it is to read to your kids. I mean, not for nothing. We read to Griffin pretty much every night. I want to say, we were even reading through to some Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn. We read to him at night when he was getting older, and he just graduated very well regarded at the University of Chicago, folks. I'm just saying. So I just want to say that I'm also having memories of his first day of school and dropping him off, and although he, like you said, some kids are ready for it and some kids are a little bit hesitant. He was like, "See ya." I'll never forget that. There was nothing emotional about it. He's like, "Are we done here?" I'm hugging him, trying to get a photo and everything. Yeah, but I mean, what a beautiful moment too to know that you've raised an adult. You've raised someone who's ready to face the world head on. They have no qualms about who they are or where they stand in this world, and they want to tackle it. They're ready for the adventure. So that's great too. And again, Timeless Toys has been a part of that journey because we have over the years had toys from Timeless Toys in his hands that I'm excited to talk about some more. So we've got the back to school stories and the fidgets because some kids it's going to be I probably could have used a fidget when I was in preschool for sure. Yeah, I was a serial pen clicker. Oh yes, I was a pen chewer. Do you remember us? We chewed on the pen caps. Yeah. That my sister is a knee bouncer. So, we all found our way to fidget. We just didn't, like you said, we didn't have these tools in hand. And more studies are coming out more and more that if kids are given a secondary task to do while they have something in front of them, they're more likely to focus, concentrate, pay attention to what the task at hand is. Right. So having these fidgets really is engaging your body almost involuntarily in a secondary task helps them focus because their motor skills are focused on something else and they can put their brain energy towards, their homework, listening to teacher, and whatever else they need to. So different from a pen and the clicking noise that it makes, we have some silent fidgets over here. Nice. The first one that we really want to shout out is Specs. We love carrying them. They're really high quality, easy to hold in one hand, even little hands. I've got long fingers, but Specs are really great. They have, we have the Odds line in right now, which is usually a series of 3 that come in really nice tactile forms. They also come in bright colors. You can have 1, 2, or 3 in your hand as you kind of play around with them. They come in different shapes. I would say in general, they're fairly ergonomic. So easy to play with, magnetic, so they're harder to lose, and really, I would say, kind of sensory rewarding textures on them. Oh, that's fantastic. That's great. And again, that's called Specs. Yes. S-P-E-K-S, folks. Specs, yes. And they have a whole line. So they do hand fidgets. They do much smaller, what are those metals called? Not precious metals, but those rare metal balls. Mm-hmm. And then they also have putty as well. So there's a whole line. Putty was always one of my favorites. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. To this day, we do carry some Crazy Errands. We also have Creativity for Kids. They have sensory packs. Those we like as well because it's more of that kind of soft aerated foam. Mm-hmm. So it's much more quiet, not going to leave a mess, not sticky ooey gooey everywhere. And definitely still easy to play with under a desk without really disrupting anything. And are parents telling you, I mean, because we've, you and I've talked, I think at Christmas time was the last time we spoke. It might have been, or it's been a while since we connected. And so I'm just wondering, in the time that you've been with Timeless Toys, do people come in and say how much it's helped their kid at class and things like that? You've got testimonies from people. Oh, definitely.
Definitely. I mean, the kids themselves will come in and tell you, they'll really say, like, I used this one fidget, I wore it to bits. And the day I didn't have it in class, teacher noticed. They noticed that I was a little more hyperactive, that I had a little more difficulty focusing. And so they'll come in and say, you know what, I'm ready for the new one. What's next? And, these are 10-year-olds coming in and really advocating for themselves, which is something that I really admire. I don't remember seeing as much kind of like agency in kids back when I was growing up. So it's a really wonderful thing. And I think having a much more broad conversation with kids in general about learning disabilities or developmental delays is great, because then kids are more easily able to name what they feel and what they're going through. And they can use that in the real world and say, oh, I know that I just need this and it's a little different than that, but it's different like that for that person. And it's just so much more comfortable when everyone has the language and the education on what's going on.
Yeah, I was talking to some friends of mine about taking the SATs, and I wrote a column. I went to Lane Tech in Chicago, and so I was a columnist for our newspaper, and I wrote a piece about how loud the clock was ticking and how I could hear people tapping pencils and all this stuff. And some of my friends, this is just last year, they go, that's not normal, right? I was like,
says who?
I was like, what? I thought, like, I honestly, in my mind, thought, like, everyone feels this intensity of everything around them. And now I realize I'm sensitive to sound, smell, and lights, right? So it's just one of those things where that's why now at 55, I'm like, oh, I need different kind of glasses when I'm inside. So this is something that you can set a child on a path that we weren't aware of, make them feel empowered. Like you said, also be able to identify, right? Like, oh, what am I feeling? Is really important.
Oh, yeah. There's been, I would say, especially since COVID, there's been a huge uprise in, or not uprise, but a huge, let's say a wave that we get to surf of books and toys that highlight emotional awareness and emotional intelligence. And so it's really incredible to see kids, young kids, I'm talking 3 years old, point at a face, mimic it, and name that emotion. That is something that maybe we take for granted when we're more neurotypical, but that's not really something that's developed until later on. And I feel like now there's a lot more familiarity with it, and that's a huge advantage.
All I'm saying is it's taken me a long time to get that. Like, because when I start getting my stomach starts to feel off, I'm like, what am I feeling? Yeah. And I think that if I'd learned that earlier, it would have been so helpful for the last 40. So it's fine. We meet ourselves where we are. Yeah. And right now we're talking about meeting kids in their back to school season. I know it sounds horrible to say, folks. It's just something to keep in mind. It's just to be ready so that you're not like scrambling at the last second, but also a way to get some kids ready for that transition either back to school or to start school. And I love that you guys include there's research about how we are stretching the back to school season, but it's about, being strategic as well about your budget, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I would say, I don't think it's a surprise to anyone that economically we're not thriving across the board, or maybe they're... You know what? I won't get political about it, even though this is a safe space to do it.
Well, it's your right. I want to make sure we know that Timeless Toys is for everybody. So even the folks who might be tuning in, I want to make sure that they know this is a fun place to go for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the response to everyone feeling that strain economically is to really stretch out those seasons for them. I feel like people are being much more proactive about their shopping as opposed to reactive, going, oh, darn, I totally forgot. Oh, but is there a sale? And now we're starting to see trends gearing up a little earlier, which I think is, just to kind of spread the money a little bit here, a little bit 2 weeks from now, a little bit after that next paycheck drops. And so we want to make sure that we're able to accommodate that buyer who's looking to get their supplies over the season and not just in one day in a mad grab, while they can. So in honoring that, we want to make sure that we also are able to provide toys or supplemental tools for these kids across the back to school spectrum. So, we definitely have these books, we have these fidgets. We do also have kind of like stationary adjacent, I don't want to call them toys, even though they are really fun. Kind of markers and pens, stationary adjacent things that a kid can bring into class on the first day that hopefully spark a conversation with some new friends they haven't made yet. So we love carrying Uli, which is a fabulous brand. It is woman-owned, so we love supporting them. They hire real artists to make all their branding. And then we also have Faber-Castell, which is a fabulous brand that we've carried for decades. They also have a fabulous line of markers, pads, notepads, and the last one I'll throw out here is I Heart Art. They have a really, really fun color changing creation doodle pad. So if a fidget toy is a little less accessible for your child, a doodling pad for them to have at lunch or in between breaks is also something that we'll carry for them as well.
Outstanding. We are hanging out with Flavia from Timeless Toys in Lincoln Square right here in Chicago. You can go to timelesstoys.com. Again, that's timelesstoys.com. And the shop was established in 1993 by former shopkeepers Harry and Martha Burroughs. And I love that you guys continue this tradition. And we also, in addition to what you were talking about as far as, helping families out, helping them plan and bringing these wonderful kids, these wonderful toys into their environments, we also want to support small businesses. And, Timeless Toys is one of the greats in Chicago. Everyone go to timelesstoys.com. We'll continue our conversation with Flavia when we come back on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150 in Seattle, KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul, and of course, all of our friends who are tuning in digitally on Facebook, YouTube, and Monaco Brewing Company Substack, or on one of our podcasts that are available at heartlandsignal.com. More in a moment.
If you're purchasing a new home or refinancing your existing home, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Corey called to consolidate his debt and was so happy with my advice, he left me this 5-star Google review. Quote, I was looking to pay off debt, so I reached out to David after listening to his radio show. David called me personally and walked me through my options. He shot it straight. There was no beating around the bush or pushing me to sign anything. If any of my family or friends need anything related to a mortgage, I'll give them David's number because you can't get better or more honest service. Thanks, Corey. I strongly encourage everyone to check out our close to 600 5-star Google reviews from listeners like Corey. Team Hochberg helped Corey and thousands of radio listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. That's 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Atlantic Coast Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 643114.
Hey Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's progressive talk from TuneIn.
No detours, no distractions. Just bold ideas and real talk. This is Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. We continue our conversation with Flavia from Timeless Toys right here in Chicago in the wonderful Lincoln Square neighborhood. Not for nothing, but you've heard me talk about it because I loved living there from 1994 until 2001. One of my favorite communities in the city. I moved to live near my parents on the northwest side, so that's why I don't live there anymore. But my son went to school right in the neighborhood. We had to drive back and forth. Flavia joins us to talk about some of the back-to-school items that she's got, as well as some events we want you to know about in just a moment for educators as well. And Flavia has been telling us about some of the items for kids just starting school to help alleviate those nerves. We're also talking about budgeting. I know it sounds like we're doing this early, but let's face it, back to school season has started, and we want you to be able to look ahead, go online and go, okay, what am I going to budget for? Put something in a cart, and then figure it out as you go. So Flavia was telling me you've got a couple more items that you want to talk about too. Before we get to I guess is that your favorite one? I know we've got a couple that we haven't seen as well. Yeah, a bunch of things that we haven't talked about yet.
I always feel it's so much fun every time I get to leave the shop because I'm usually just the woman walking around with a big bag of toys. And Timeless Toys has this bright fire engine red logo. So the bags are red. My shirt is red. I feel a little bit like Santa's helper, Christmas in July here. So some of the other toys that I have, one of them is the Hanayama Brain Teaser. These are fabulous puzzles. I've talked about them before in the capacity that I went to the Magic Lounge up in Andersonville on 5050 North Clark. That's just a plug for the Magic Lounge because I love it. And was sitting up at the bar at the front, and the magicians there had a bunch of these brain teasers that they were passing out. And it was amazing to see we sell these toys. Usually the age recommended to start playing with them is around 10 years old. They're definitely very sophisticated puzzles. But it was wild seeing, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s adults holding these puzzles being like, what am I doing? But before you know it, people are engaging with these puzzles, whether or not they're actually solving them. Mm-hmm. It's just nice for them to have something in their hands. These are beautiful puzzles. They are wooden or metal constructed. They've got really nice weight to them. Again, it's going to fulfill all those tactile sensory needs that some kids are looking for nowadays. We do have a range on different levels, easy to hardest, starting at 1 all the way up to level 6. And then another one next to Hanayama is going to be Smart Games. We love carrying Smart Games as a brand. They have such fabulous toys that really adjust for levels of complexity. So with the same game, you can adjust the age range, you can adjust how many players, and you can adjust the level of difficulty from each challenge across their games. We have the IQ Mini because it's small, compact, portable.
Yeah.
It's fabulous to put, in a little lunchbox or something like that. And if a kid wants to break it out at lunchtime and invite some friends over, invite someone to help them solve one of the challenges, I feel like that's such an easy way to get a conversation starting while you're at school. And in that same vein, we have our craft accessories. This is from Fashion Angels. We have their bag charm crafting kit. And this is a moment where I had to be like, do I know any 12-year-olds personally? I have to ask, like, are the kids still doing bag charms? And the answer is yes.
That's great.
We have them. You can make your own, challenge your imagination, your creativity, build your own bag charm, have it attached to your backpack, whatever bag you want to bring. And then the last kind of icebreaker toy that I have that I think is going to be great is Spellio. During a toy convention that happened earlier this summer, myself and one of the general managers of the store got to meet the inventor. His name is Max. He is 24, I think.
What?
He's currently living at home, and he keeps backstock of this product under his bed and his brother's bed. I mean, it's such a great story, but regardless, the game is fabulous. I got to play with my coworkers and we had a blast. This is a game all about speed. You can do it in competition. You can do it cooperatively. It's a great way to learn the fundamentals of the alphabet, to learn what a verb is, what an adjective is, what a noun is. And the idea is that you are trying to spell words as quickly as possible, but words can be 3 letters. Right. It doesn't have to be like Scrabble where you're racing for points or you're trying to come up with the most complicated words. This was brought into a classroom full of second graders and they had a ball. So it's a super fun, engaging game. I think parents would love playing this with little ones as well. So Spellio is the name of the game. We have a demo open in the store if you ever want to stop by and play. But yeah, another thing that we would love to highlight for kids to bring in and kind of take out of their backpack and invite others to play with.
And I love that pouch because it looks kind of rugged. It could be going camping, or
yes.
I mean, it's just got that fun sort of. Also important. I bet you a kid like taking that to school or taking it somewhere. It just has that heft to it, which is really. I can't explain it. A zippered pouch, and I love that. So that's really. And you mentioned people can stop by and play in the store. I imagine there's a lot to play.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we try to keep as many demos out as we can. Mm-hmm. If we don't have it out on the floor, it's probably in the basement somewhere. So we are more than happy to go grab that. Or you can come talk to any of the play experts at Timeless Toys. We are all ASTRA certified play experts. Most of our staff have backgrounds in childhood development, childhood psychology, or we have former educators in working in the store. So we are happy to speak to any and everything in the shop.
What a great assembly of experts. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a team of superheroes, truly.
And tell me a little bit about I know that there's online shopping as well. Do you guys ship anywhere in the country?
We do. Anywhere in the contiguous United States. We are happy to ship for you. That can all be done online, or you can give us a call and we can place that order for you and hopefully get it shipped in the next 2 to 3 business days, I think is what we say.
Yeah, because I know that the owner has been very mindful about how to manage things. Like even when he knew that tariffs were going to be coming in, pre-ordered pallets of toys for Christmas. I mean, just really strategic planning on the part of the store, I think, and management.
Definitely. I mean, Scott is just a great man, a great owner, a great father. And I think him having the 2 little boys that he does really helps inform all the decisions. He's able to look, I think, very objectively at the store and be like, okay, as a parent who's going to be facing these issues alongside everyone else, what would I expect from my toy store? And so he really, I think, lets that lead the decision-making that he does. Right. And then we have Stella doing a bulk of purchasing as well for us. And I think they both, in tandem, do such a fabulous job on making sure that the store is stocked with what we think feeds the neighborhood the best. So not just the big ticket items, the things that you'll find at big box stores. We really want to focus on our neighborhood, on our community, on being the response to what we hear the parents in our store saying they are looking for.
Yeah, that's great. And because, when I think about the time I was living in Lincoln Square, and what it continues to have are small businesses, anything from right beside her, which is a great site. I think they're still in Lincoln Square, the cidery. Yeah, I was going to say. I met them when they started over a decade ago.
No
they
way.
were on my show when they just started out. I mean, it might have been a few years in, but it was really fun. It's just fun to watch them grow. And a lot of great businesses in the Lincoln Square area. And what I love is
is at a time when really the toy store is gone. Even the big box toy stores have been consumed by, the online retailer that consumes all of the oxygen and doesn't have that sort of hands-on. And whether it's online or in store, you guys are really dedicated to making sure that people have what they need for their kids in every aspect, whether it's sensory or it's emotional or it's educational or just fun. And all of those are fun too.
Yeah, I feel like I usually get in trouble because I love talking about the developmental milestones that make a toy appropriate for a kid. But sometimes it's just because it's fun.
Yes.
You just want it to be fun. You want to have fun playing it, and you want it to be fun for everyone at all ages, adults included, who's playing with it. So yeah, we try to find a good balance between stocking stuff that's like, whoa, this is just cool. Like, I wish I had that as a kid.
Right.
And then those things that are like, no, we want to focus on developing fine motor skills and all those other things too.
Well, and imagination is such a, I think we always, with so much on our iPads or on our tablets, our phones, whatever, having those elements of make believe. Like, I just even remember the Melissa and Doug toys where you're making a cake or you're making a pizza and you're, decide, that was even math sometimes, or even as the motor skills that you were mentioning. With the the strings and the blocks and things. Just really great stuff all around.
Yeah, if we can find a way to kind of sneak the learning into the fun, then we've definitely done our job.
Exactly. Yeah. And you have an event for educators coming up on August 28th. Tell us a little bit about that one.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to honor all the incredible educators in the city. So we are doing 10% off everything in store for educators with a valid school ID. So make sure you stop in Friday, August 28th. It's going to be during our store hours, which is 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then we are also going to do an additional book sale. It'll be 15% off all books, and that is anything that falls in our book category. So that's including coloring books, sticker books, tattoo books, and then of course our readers, and then our board books, hardcover books, paperbacks, everything.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it's funny, my son, who I said just graduated from college, still we try to pare down, and he just he even has an emotional attachment to, and we have a younger son who has developmental disabilities. And so we still have a lot of things, because you never know with a kiddo like him if something's going to come back into what he wants. And he does, he rotates back. So it's always great to have those memories, and all the work that you guys do really make an impact on families like ours. So thank you so much for being a part of our conversation today, Flavia. And I know that I want folks to stay up to date on current events. TimelessToys.com obviously is a good place to not only order, but also know what's coming up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram as well. But on the web, or honestly, just feel free to stop by. Make a day of it. Grab something at a cafe, have dinner later in the night, go listen to some music at Old Town School, folk music. There's so much to do in the area. So.
And the address again for mine folks
is 4749 North Lincoln Avenue, right in the heart of Lincoln Square.
That's very fun. Well, thank you so much, Flavia, for joining us today and for bringing all the fun toys. I know I'm like, what am I going to play with before she leaves?
Whatever you would like.
It's really been a pleasure. And please say hello to everybody back at Timeless Toys. We'd love to welcome you back for anything else. What's the next big thing? I guess it's Christmas, but is there anything between now and Christmas?
I feel like there are so many great events happening in the square. I feel like after back to school, it's kind of like all engines go on Apple Fest.
Yes. Apple Fest is coming up.
And the fall will be the big one, yeah.
And Oktoberfest will be another one, too. Yes. Yeah, it's a lot of fun in Lincoln Square. Mm-hmm. And right in the heart of it, as you mentioned, as Flavia mentioned, is Timeless Toys. Again, TimelessToys.com. And if you're in the city, I recommend stopping in because there's fun for everyone. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. Have a wonderful evening. Love you all. Take care of yourself.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers the professional-grade products you need, delivered when and where you need them. Call and click Grainger.com or just stop by.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. President Trump's backed away from his plan to charge fees for ships crossing the Strait of Hormuz, telling reporters leaders in the Gulf region have been telling him,
"We would like to invest tremendously in the United States as opposed to charging a fee." And I like that, actually, because I don't think anybody should be able to charge a fee for the strait or for any other strait relationship in terms of other sections of the world. I don't think anybody should be really in that position. But we were doing it as a reimbursement.
U.S. Central Command says it's carried out another wave of strikes on Iran and has now reimposed the blockade of its ports. Meanwhile, Lisa Dwyer reports on Capitol Hill.
Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer helped block the $1 trillion defense bill known as the National Defense Authorization Act, along with other key Democrats who say they cannot support the annual bill as the war with Iran drags into a fifth month.
Donald Trump and the administration have no authorization, no strategy,
no peace, no blank check. Therefore, a day after the president told Congress that his war is back on, I am a no, a strong no, on NDAA.
Senate Majority Leader John Thune called the defense package a good bill and implored his colleagues to pass the bill.
And we have an obligation here in Congress to ensure that they have everything they need for whatever the mission may be.
After the bill failed to advance on a 50-46 vote, Thune switched his vote in a procedural move that will allow the leader to bring it back up for consideration again later. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
A person familiar with the decision tells AP the Trump administration's told ICE officers to suspend most vehicle stops. It comes after 2 deadly shootings in a little over a week, the latest yesterday, a Colombian man in Biddeford, Maine. And President Trump says his primetime address Thursday night will include a focus on elections. This is AP News. A notable omission on the donation list of one of the world's richest.
Billionaire Warren Buffett has excluded Bill Gates' foundation from his annual donations this year, following disclosures of the Microsoft co-founder's ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Instead, Buffett will donate about $6 billion to 4 foundations connected to his own family. He also says he wants all of his remaining Berkshire Hathaway stock, worth nearly $146 billion, donated to charity by the end of 2034. Most of Buffett's charitable gifts since 2006 have gone to the Gates Foundation, but in March, Buffett told CNBC that he hadn't spoken to Gates since before the Epstein files were released in 2025. Gates has denied any knowledge of Epstein's crimes and has not been accused of any wrongdoing. I'm Marcela Sanchez.
There's more news at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
The Ben Joravsky Show.
Lindsey Graham, this is an excerpt from his special grand jury interview. Listen, he thinks he's cheated out of the election. If you told him, meaning Trump, Martians came and stole votes, he'd be inclined to believe it. One more time. This is Lindsey Graham, under oath. If you told Trump Martians came and stole votes, he'd be inclined to believe it. Donald Trump's assertions that the election was stolen from him are about as well founded as if he said Martians stole it from him. He made it up.
The Ben Joravsky Show. Saturdays at 5 p.m. on WCPT.
Progressive knows it ain't easy navigating the open plains of home insurance, but there is one man who can help tame that wild herd of options. The Home Quote Explorer.
Note, Progressive's Home Quote Explorer is not a real person, but an online tool that lets you compare home insurance.
He's the type of feller who helps you decide on the right insurance, even if it ain't with him.
Again, not a person, just an online tool that helps you find great home coverage.
A real pioneer.
Okay, fine. Just do the thing. Yeah! Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations.
Many of our U.S. veterans and service members face challenges: mental health struggles, housing obstacles, employment, food insecurity, and social isolation, to name just a few. I'm Bob Woodruff. My family and I started the Bob Woodruff Foundation in 2006 after I sustained a life-threatening injury while reporting from Iraq. Our service members had my back that day, and we need to have theirs now more than ever. At the Bob Woodruff Foundation, we raise awareness about the tough challenges veterans and military families face and invest in solutions to help support them in the next chapter of their lives. And with one solution comes the next. We solve the housing situation, we increase employment opportunities. We solve employment problems, we address food insecurity. We solve food insecurity, we impact physical and mental health issues. Learn more about our work at bobwoodrufffoundation.org/success.
Real talent is defined by what people can do, not where they learn to do it. So by stopping at the education section of a resume, you might throw away the perfect hire. Skills First Hiring helps you see talent others miss, like more than 70 million stars, skilled through alternative routes. Let their story unfold and gain a competitive advantage, because hiring managers who start with skills are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. Hire skills first. Learn why at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, where facts matter.
Welcome to the bar. It's political. Step up to the bar. Thinking critical. Don't think at the bar, whoever you are. The politics bar. With Sean Smith, Pierce, and Jody Hamilton.
Good
good Tuesday evening. It is a 2 for Tuesday here at the Politics Bar. Thank you very much for coming in and joining us from wherever you are. Yes, Jody will be here shortly. She is got a little difficulty getting to the bar today. Look, sometimes California traffic, a little bit heavy. Just happens every once in a while. We do have two great guests coming in today as well. I'm stoked about this. Rude Pundit will be here in the first hour. He'll be here actually pretty shortly. And Jared Rizzi will come in the second hour. I think we may put off doing the drink of the day the second hour with Jared just because, Jared always loves doing that kind of thing. He loves to serve bar when he gets a chance. Thank you, by the way, for joining us here at the bar from wherever you are, whether you are joining us from AM 950, Minneapolis, St. Paul, or Georgia Now Radio in the greater Georgia area around Atlanta. Maybe you are listening in Atlanta. Great, we like that too. Maybe you're listening in Chicago on WCPT AM 820 or the Detour Talk in Tennessee, in that Tri-Cities area there. Or maybe you are listening on Progressive Voices Radio worldwide, wherever you happen to be. Or maybe you are one of our wonderful future people listening on your favorite podcast player, or you're listening because you're subscribed at thepoliticsbar.com. You're smart. You look marvelous. And, look, it's simple. You go there. It's $6 a month. You get the podcast ad-free. You get the news on tap, which tells you what's going on for the whole day, which is pretty nice. And you get the drink of the day with the recipe. And today we even have a few links off to some foodstuffs. Yeah, you want to check that out today. It's all there. Go subscribe. It's inexpensive. You'll love it. It's there. It's thepoliticsbar.com. It is a 2 for Tuesday, as we mentioned. And, yes, I'm bummed. Jody texted me. She said she'll be here shortly. But, you just look, California, L.A., it's traffic. It happens once in a while. I'm surprised it hasn't happened, earlier than now. It's been more than a year we've been doing the show. And, whatever. It's fine. Look, the news on tap today, it's a little bit scary and a little bit stupid. We will try to guide you through it and get you some laughs on these things because you look at this stuff and if you weren't going to cry, you should laugh about this because that's the only way we're going to get through this together is some of the sanity on this because some of the stuff is just so stupidly insane. In the first round of the news on tap, which you can get for free, by the way, at thepoliticsbar.com. First round is called today, The Rights Wars on America, and the first subsection is Red Alert, War Against Democracy. Yeah, I know, some of the news outlets have been saying some scary things. We've been hearing some scary things. We won't find anything until Thursday night. Donald Trump doing a Thursday night primetime speech. Supposedly he will claim that there's declassified intelligence revealing the 2020 election interference. No. Not happening. Not even close to that. Look, it was Democrats, independents, and Republicans all said that there was no 2020 election interference. It was one of the most well-ran elections ever, and it was in the middle of a pandemic, which made it even more insane. But there is some stuff you should read about it. John Neffel has a good piece from Media Matters for America talking about how some of the old monsters like Bannon and John Solomon and Cleta Mitchell seem to have, I don't know what you want to call it, shambled from their zombie tombs out there, and they're trying to get Trump to basically cheat at the 2026 elections. Parker Malloy also has a really good piece that we've got linked in today's News on Tap, talking about how the mainstream national news media should cover Trump's remarks on Thursday night, but they really shouldn't give him the airwaves live Thursday. And if you're like, well, they always give the president the airwaves, you'd be wrong. Look, I don't know if you guys remember, but President Obama more than once asked the national media to give him the primetime airways. They didn't. President Biden, they didn't. It seems to be one of those things where the mainstream news media will always show deference to Republicans and Donald Trump. But when Democratic presidents ask for it, they go, oh, no, we have something better to do. We have baseball or something like that. And yeah, the All-Star game is on tonight. All-Star home run contest happened last night. We'll get to that a little bit later as well. But back to the war against democracy. Donald Trump, he can threaten all that he wants. I found it funny. I saw this clip online last night after I got back from the bar, and I just kind of I laughed because, well, this is Nicole Wallace on MS Now yesterday. Let me just play this here from the DVR.
When Obama ran intelligence, the election was secure and Donald Trump won in 2016. When Biden ran the government and the intelligence, the election was secure and Trump ran in 2024. But when Donald Trump and all of his boobs were running U.S. national security, it got all effed up. Is that the theory?
Yeah, that's their theory, Nicole. That is the theory. Congratulations. of the current Republicans and Donald Trump. Their theory is that it's completely awful. The 2020 election was complete BS, but the other two were fine. I know. You're thinking, wait a minute, what? Remember, Barack Obama was still in charge. Democrats, I believe, were still in charge, or at least part of Congress, in 2016 when the election was ran. Now, Donald Trump won the election in 2016, so he thinks that's fine. But remember, if he thinks that the federal government runs elections, which it doesn't, states run elections. Let's be clear on that. States run elections, the federal government does not. But Donald says, well, the federal government ran elections. Okay, well, if the federal government ran elections in 2016, it was the Obama government running the elections, and hey, you won, so that must have been right, at least in your logic. Of course, in 2024, it was the Biden-Harris administration running the election. And Donald says, well, I won. Yeah, but it was the Biden-Harris administration running the election. The people who were running the election, and remember, this is only if you take Donald's belief, which is BS because states run the elections. But if you believe what he says, well, that would mean in 2020, it was the Trump regime, the first one, that was running the election. So if there was something wrong with the 2020 election, and elections are run by the feds, which they're not, but if you believe what he thinks, then the people to blame for the criminal election in 2020 would be Donald Trump. Yeah. You have to follow the logic all the way through. I realize that that's really hard for MAGA to do. When they can't even count their own eyeballs and get the same number twice, sometimes things like that kind of, escape them a little bit. But the fact of the matter is, thank you, Scano. Yeah, we'll get you in a little bit here. But look, the fact of the matter is, it's pretty simple, guys. The 2020 election was perfectly fine. Yes, Joe Biden won because there were more votes for Biden and Harris. That's how that works. On top of which, no matter what he says on Thursday night, we have a great fact check from the Center for American Progress in that first segment of the News End Tap, reminding you the Trump regime has no legal authority to invoke national security and take over elections. And that is what people are worried about, that Trump will threaten that there is some type of national emergency and that he's going to take over. Even in a national emergency, it can't happen. We've had literally the Civil War that is considered like one of the bloodiest, one of the worst civil wars between nations in world history. Didn't have the federal government take over elections then. States still ran the elections then. World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan. A lot of events happened. 9/11. The election that fall, and there were some elections that fall. I know, I'm in Virginia. We have them on what they call off years. No. States still ran the elections in every single one of those cases. On top of which, the Trump DOJ is now 0 for 13 in its attempt to steal the voter rolls from the states because courts of every kind, including judges that Donald Trump appointed, have said you do not have any business in the federal government getting into those elections. They do not belong to you. They should not be controlled by you. You don't need to have your hands in there. Get your hands off that wheel. So that's, look, I get it. And I understand, especially from the mainstream media who is looking for clicks and attention and they're worrying about, they want to, get you. I get it. But the fact of the matter is your states are where it's at. And if you are concerned, like we were talking last night, Jody and I were talking with BDD here at the bar. The fact of the matter is, what you should do is contact your local officials. Remember, your local officials work with your state officials. So contact your county officials, contact whoever it is, and volunteer to be a poll watcher. No, Scano. Not that kind of poll watcher. Jeez Louise. I can't wait till Daryl, we understand you're still mourning your mom, but when you get back, will you please rein him in? Thank you very much. Anyway, so look, the fact of the matter is, if you are worried about your elections, the smartest thing that you can do is get involved in your elections. Be a poll watcher. Be a poll worker. Do I have to? Anyway, never mind. I don't have to say that. Look, so the fact of the matter is, what we're looking at here is an environment of fear. And that is where Donald Trump and his monsters live. They live and they do their best work in an environment of fear. So this is why we're trying to get you guys informed to make sure that you're not afraid. You may be, and I hate to use the Susan Collins word, you may be concerned. And being concerned, that's perfectly legit and perfectly understandable. But we do not want you guys to be afraid. All right? No reason to be afraid. There is a little reason to be afraid as far as ICE goes, although there was a small bit of good news today. About mid-afternoon this afternoon, in a major policy shift, ICE and DHS have been instructed by courts and by their own administration. So Marquane Mullen told them that most vehicle stops nationwide are temporarily being shut down. No more vehicle stops nationwide temporarily after ICE agents have killed 2 immigrants in, well, basically a little more than a week. Yeah, it's ugly as far as that goes. But, let's... Hey, look who just came in the bar. The rude pundit Lee Papa is here. Jody's having some trouble on the 5, so she's not here yet. So we'll work on that. No big deal. It is what it is. How you doing today, man?
All right. I found a bar to finally hang out in to talk to you.
This is the bar. I know. I love your background today. It is awesome. How you been? Where have you been out in the heat at all?
Oh yeah, I have a dog. So
I know the feeling. I do too.
Yeah, the dog wants to walk, and the dog's ambitious though. The dog thinks that it can walk for a while, and then gets out there for like 5 minutes, and is like, you know what, I'm good.
Okay, how big is your dog though?
Not big.
Okay,
like I don't know. It looks like if you smush together a dachshund and a German Shepherd.
I have a little 20-something pound dog, little mini golden doodle, and he's fine. Christopher's great, but he's not like we call him his brother. A previous dog that we had, who was another smaller poodle mix. That was our first dog, Ringo. Ringo, we got him when we were in South Florida. He would lay out on the concrete. You're talking the heat index is like 112, and he's like, nice massage.
Oh no, Carter's the same way. Carter likes to lay out on the tar on
the asphalt
on the driveway.
Yeah,
dude.
Ringo was, and I was like, dude, I'm melting here, and he's like, it sounds like a you problem.
Yeah. No, I'm good. And then we'll lay on his side, and then after a while, we'll just start panting, and it's like,
right?
Do you understand why you're doing it?
No.
No.
It's kind of like a MAGA voter. Look, we got to talk about the MAGA voters. We got to talk about the Maine voters. The rude pundit Lee Papa is here on this 2 for Tuesday night. Jared Rizzi coming in later, and Jody's coming in whenever she gets here. Look, freshen your drink and come right back. It's you and me hanging out with Rude on this Tuesday night. Hang on.
We'll be right back after we pay some bills at the politics bar.
The Bob Cesca Show.
Bob Cesca. This may be the best news, not just of the day, but of maybe the year, possibly. There's an mRNA vaccine that may have just cured melanoma.
I saw that. That's amazing, right?
This is a personalized mRNA vaccine known as mRNA 4157, which has shown promise in keeping melanoma, a deadly skin cancer, from returning. 5 years later, nearly 70% of people in the vaccine group are cancer-free. The vaccine also cuts a person's risk of the cancer metastasizing by nearly 60%. So it's not quite...
And it only costs you $8,000 out of pocket.
Well, yeah.
Now, there you are, Debbie Downer. There's David.
Hep C vaccine costs $84,000 a year, so...
Well, this is phenomenal news. Obviously...
It is awesome news.
It's not a straight-up cure, but it's pretty damn close. Okay, meantime, good news from the Wall Street Journal generic ballot poll for the midterms. This comes to us from the amazing Allison Gill. Democrats 51%, Republicans 35%.
Whee!
like those numbers.
16-point lead on the generic ballot. In 2018, when Dems netted 40 seats in the House, they led the generic ballot by 14 points. There's also the 2006 model, which I've been looking at. Around this time, in 2006, the generic ballot was closer to maybe 12 to 14 points. This indicating a 16-point lead is a big deal. Don't get me started on making sure we're prioritizing the goal of winning as many elections as possible. And anything we say has to be filtered through the idea as to whether or not it's going to help.
Bob Cesca.
It's the Bob Cesca Show. New episodes every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, everywhere you get your podcasts and at bobcescashow.com.
Tom Hartman.
The Ellison family, assuming that the CNN deal goes through, will control TikTok, CBS, CNN, HBO, Discovery Channel, Black Entertainment Television, BT, Cartoon Network, Comedy Central, DC Studios, Fandango, Miramax, MTV, Nickelodeon, Paramount, Pluto TV, Showtime, TBS, the CW, TNT, Warner Brothers, and more.
Gosh, that sounds an awful lot like a monopoly.
The Tom Hartman radio program. Weekdays 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Talking to your kids about the dangers of vaping can be hard. Getting them to listen to hot gossip is easy. So here's some drama you could share with your kid. Dude, did you hear about Cassie and Jake? No, but did you hear that vaping can cause irreversible lung damage and nicotine affects brain development? Nuh-uh. You don't need to gossip if you want to have an open conversation about vaping. So if you want to get tips on when and how to talk to your kids, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
A message from Tia Mowry, actress and Fair Celebrity Ambassador.
Game day isn't staged. It's lived. It's the shopping, the cooking, the laughter. For families managing food allergy, that same spirit of preparation means everything. Because food allergy isn't a lifestyle. It's a serious, life-threatening disease that can change everything in a moment. But being ready changes the story. It's knowing the signs, having a plan, and carrying epinephrine everywhere life takes you. Epinephrine is the only treatment that can stop a severe food allergy reaction known as anaphylaxis. It works quickly to reverse the symptoms and can